Hello, friends? Hello? Are you there? Hello, God? It's me, Margaret. Are you there? Welcome to Talking with Spanish People. My name is host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Spanish People, and I'm asking the important question today. Is rap music okay? And the answer is only when it's educational. So if we look at a song like in the city of Compton, keep it rockin'. Rachel Lepalosa. Did you like the whale recipe video? Thank you, darling. It took a lot of time. It's like, that's the thing about videos like that. It took a lot of time to make. I ended up going to sleep like at 4:30 in the morning or something. But I did sleep a good 6 hours, 7 hours or whatever. I slept hard. It was just like, boom. Anyhow, I'm actually very proud of that video though, because I got the timing right on everything. Like when you're doing comedy stuff or a comedy edited video, you have to get the flow of the humor thing. It's like I have a tendency sometimes to leave a little fat around the jokes, and you have to leave a little fat around the jokes, otherwise you rabbit starve. But you can't leave too. You have to leave exactly the right amount so that the pacing of it is just all the way through. The pacing of that video is perfect, and the momentum of it carries you straight through from beginning to end. I can rewatch it multiple times, and that is not the case for really any of my talking videos, unless something's happening that's right. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm glad I took the time to edit it and stuff. Not very happy with the title. I'd like to find some way to thumb and title it so that it gets random traffic more. I think if we could get random traffic. Sandy's here. Sandy over here, look. Come sit with me and Rachel. You can sit with us for lunch. You can have some of my omelets. It's humpback. Good, huh? Surprisingly good tasting flesh. If you haven't tried humpback whale, you are missing out. If you think baleen whales are delicious, and blue whales are delicious, and sperm whales are delicious, well, you're really going to be blown away by a humpback. Here's the deal. The reason they're so much more delicious is because they store all their deliciousness in the hump. And other whales, they have it spread out throughout their whole body. Don't eat any part of a humpback whale except the hump, obviously, because the rest of them taste gross. But the hump of a humpback whale, mwah, so delicious. Sometimes I think I could eat an entire humpback whale hump to myself. A revolution in humpback whaling? Baleen's, they're an acquired taste. Is it a dance revolution? I hope so. I'll keep that in mind, Sandy. Sandy only comes here for the recipes, so I like to include that. I do have a great recipe for deep fried baleen. You have to throw away the rest of the whale, but the part that they filter the plankton through, you deep fry it. You get these delicious, like, they kind of taste like kale chips. Mmm. I love a good deep fried whale baleen chunk. The biggest problem eating whales, of course, is what to do with the rest of the carcass. Because, you kill yourself a whale, you stick it on the back of a flatbed truck, you drive it to your house, and then you go to do a little bit of butchering. And you're only going to need maybe like this much meat from the thing. So you got a whole shit ton of whale left to throw away. How are you going to do that? Well, see, Zandy says whale enchiladas. I tell you, Zandy, there are not enough Mexicans in my neighborhood to dispose of an entire blue whale that way. It's a good suggestion, but it probably would work great if you live in a Mexican village where they make enchiladas constantly. And I don't doubt that enchilada sauce on, like, say, a whale poke. I don't know. Are you familiar with the poke? A poke it's like raw fish, but it's not really raw. It's cooked by the citric acid of the juice that's in it. Well, if you do that, but throw in a little enchilada sauce, that's called Mexican poke. Regardless, you're still gonna have a shit ton of whale left over, okay? Because no matter how many people you're trying to feed, you're not gonna use that whole whale. So get a wood chipper is the point. If you don't have access to a wood chipper, you could, in theory, get a giant tub of acid and dissolve the whale in it. Like, say, just fill up a giant swimming pool with lye, for example. Now, careful when you're pushing the whale into the pool because that'll splatter. If it gets on you, it'll start to dissolve your flesh. Antipolar explains why Countess gets irrationally angry with people sometimes. Yeah. Well, it definitely explains how I had that moment I have with my dad all the time, where I'm like, but why is it mom's fault? Exactly. Why is she more to blame? What's the determining factor here? And there's just this, like, stone wall between the parties that just immediately rises up and say, wait, you don't understand me at all, do you? Yeah, I see it. I see the antipolar in my dad frequently. I mean, I definitely saw it to him about the legal stuff. Perfect example of NI polar and TI ignoring is the way that my dad incorporated Mike, our lawyer, after Becky emailed him a bunch of times. So I told him there's absolutely zero reason for any sort of legal counsel because there's zero possible way she can assign liability to you. And he sort of agreed that was a reasonable argument, but, well, let's see what the expert says. And I tried to tell him, I said, Dad, I'm a better lawyer than Mike. Not that I'm not trying to diss Mike, but I'm just saying that, believe me when I talk to you about legal matters. Eric John, don't even start. I don't even want to hear it. Of course, what does that mean? He is not judging my ability with legal questions based on anything other than whether or not I'm a lawyer. And in that instance, he doesn't really even use his experience because it's like he has experience of this happening before. Well, Dad, here's the NI. Let's go consult the NI expert on this. Or you could just listen to me, Dad. No. You mean, how do you answer the question about what was the main? You mean starting World War II? I would say post World War One, like extraction of tribute. In other words, an excessively harsh post World War One. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Am I still on your Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Slow as molasses.
Well, let me make sure you're connected on your phone. You're talking your phone or the computer?
No, I don't trust the computer anymore. It wasn't working. So I just shut it down. And I went to my phone. Everything works. I mean, it's not like somebody's messed up my password. So far, I don't even see how they could possibly get into that computer.
No, I mean, they shouldn't. It should be safe on a computer. I'm not sure though if I connected that computer to my Wi-Fi or just your phone. I don't remember.
The phone works fine.
Okay, so probably that computer is still on your internet, and just your phone is on my Wi-Fi.
Okay. But it would show me if any other computer was trying to get in, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. There's no way for any other computer to make remote access without you saying, "Go ahead, yes, please have remote access."
Okay. No, phone works. So I actually went in, rather than that, I went into on the phone and leave a message in for the doctor on the phone. I don't even know why I would need the computer anymore.
For printing?
Printing, yeah, obviously. But the voting passes, we just got a new printer, which works just fine. And I had some copies the other day, and that worked just fine.
Okay, good. So there's your answer. That's what you need the computer for.
So,
Yeah, we're fine. You're safe.
all right, I'm going out to Costco.
Okay, have a fun time at Costco.
And don't forget the garbage goes out tonight.
Okay, I'll take my garbage to the bigger can. Slow as molasses, Sergey. Slow as molasses. Everybody knows that the slowest thing in the world is molasses. That's why people are constantly comparing other slow things to it. So, Eileen is counted as a supervisor. That's good. You know, there is no spoon. I want to explain something to you. Your name is a reality that can easily be used to explain the concept of uniqueness to debaters. One concept that debaters have a hard time understanding and are constantly getting wrong is uniqueness. So when I explain it to debaters, I say, okay, pretend the advocacy is, get away, fly. Pretend the advocacy is make all, let's say, spoons illegal. If the advocacy is make all spoons illegal, and you're negating, one of the impacts you can't point to is, like this population of people over here, they use only spoons. They use spoons to eat soup, sure, but they also use spoons to eat rice or pieces of chicken or anything. They use spoons for everything. So if we make spoons illegal, these people will starve. That is the problem with that argument, and the reason it's specious reasoning is that moving food from a plate to your mouth and successfully getting food into your mouth from a plate, that impact is not unique to spoons. So even if I get rid of spoons, there are plenty of other ways I can get food to my mouth. So we can assume that when spoons are made illegal, the population that only uses spoons right now will not just starve. They will take another angle to getting food to their mouth. Either use their hands or chopsticks or forks or whatever. I think that uniqueness is a tricky concept in debate because it's very relevant, but it's narrowly constructed. So it's like if I say, if we do my advocacy, we will accomplish these good outcomes. The neg can't say those good outcomes aren't unique to your advocacy. Because just because there are other ways to attain the outcome that I attain with my advocacy doesn't mean I don't get those impacts from my advocacy. Because in the status quo, none of the ways to attain those impacts are being done. So you can see how uniqueness is it's a tricky to parse vector in debate. In some ways, uniqueness matters a lot, like on the spoon question, right? And in some ways, uniqueness doesn't matter at all. Like if I'm advocating for, let's set aside this government money to buy this piece of land and turn it into a park. You could argue there are other ways to preserve that land. That's not an argument against my advocacy, right? Obviously. It's true that preserving that land is not unique to my advocacy, but that's not a reason to vote against my advocacy. On the other hand, if I'm saying let's make all spoons illegal, and you're arguing that that'll cause people to starve, then the fact that getting food in your mouth is not unique to spoons or forks or whatever is the determinant question in the matter. But I want to say I was extremely pleased with the way my conversation with Countess last night opened up my understanding on NI a lot. It was just like, one person who's willing to sit there and let me try to hammer on a thing. I don't have to worry about FE exactly. It's like as soon as you start testing an area where people aren't good at it, usually you also start to get resistance, like to the lines of questioning. If I start really trying to nail down exactly how shitty your TI is, you're not having a good time, probably. I'm telling people, I want them obviously to have a good time. I want it to be like fun. Like, let's have fun, having a time today. I don't want them to be like, fuck, that was torture, dog. I feel violated. I don't want that to happen. So, twoo that, Hambone. I'll tell you one supervisee who's constantly impressing the fuck out of me, though. Zandy. Zandy, as your supervisor, I'm sorry, that's benefactor. My supervisee is ISTP. As your benefactor type, and you as my beneficiary, is anybody else buffering? Is that Spoon's problem? Is it Spoon's problem, or is it my problem? I want to know. Don't try to live a spoonless life unless you got some forks. Don't try to live a forkless life unless you got chopsticks. Don't try to live a chopstickless life unless you got corn on the cob. That's an old Mother Goose rhyme. Fascinating Zandy is a good title for like a movie or a book or something. One of the reasons why, because pulling triggers is non-unique to fingers, Lou. Okay? This is a good example. Pulling triggers is non-unique to fingers. Even if we ban all fingers, people could still pull the trigger with their tongue. So that's why we have to ban everything that sticks out of a person. Anything that you could stick out, though, like you could, in theory, if you got a boner, you could pull the trigger with your penis. And you could, for example, you could get a gun where when you're flaccid, your penis fits through the trigger hole where it doesn't pull the trigger. And then you just, proceed to like look at some pornography. And as you get aroused, trigger gets and feel finally fully aroused, you go, pow, shoots. Now, the recoil question is obviously solved by this approach, Lou, because if you're like me, your erect penis is rock hard, like steel, stronger than even a gun. Okay? My penis can handle the recoil of 40 millimeter cannon. It's pretty good. So anyway, for some reason, I've come to associate INTP with being smelly nerds. And maybe that's a misconception though. I bet the real reason you come to associate INTPs with a bunch of smelly nerds is probably that every INTP you've ever met is a smelly nerd. I do, Ambone. I know I want to smell you. Because if I have to smell somebody smelly, the least offensive smelly people are nerds. Their smell kind of smells like science. Ambone, I want you and me to smell Ethan together. Can you and me go over, like, all smell the top, you smell the bottom. And we'll switch if you want. Right. Look, an INTP smell, it's not so much awful. It's just sort of the stark, sterile smell of intellect seeping from their pores. I would say, INTPs are among the more seepy types. So when you're constantly seeping moisture, you tend to develop a bit of kind of smell like the rainforest. Okay, listen to me, relaxing rainwalker. You're indicating jokes at the wrong time. Also, you need to precede the joke by at least like 4 or 5 chats. Say, give me a warning. Upcoming in 4 or 5 chats will be a chat that announces the pending arrival of a joke. I would like 2 levels of warning, please. Oh my Lord Almighty! Look who it is! Okay, if you don't know who it is, I want to give you a hint. Her name rhymes with Rang Rang Rishna Ramambaru. Anybody guess who it is? Knock knock. Knock knock. Lou, the next part of the joke, you're supposed to say, who's there? You told me to start the joke. I don't know who's there. Me? That is a pretty good joke, Lou. I've got a great knock knock joke, but you have to start it. That's a fantastic knock knock joke, actually. I love it. I absolutely love that joke, Lou. And that's the entirety of the joke. Then you realize, wait, what? Fuck you. That is such a great joke, but it's such a mean joke. Like it, because the whole joke of it is that it's impossible for you to have a good knock knock joke that I start, right? But of course, it takes you a second. You don't realize that until you actually say like knock knock, right? It's really quite brilliant. I'm enamored of it. Me too, Rachel. I feel like there's been a lot of added closeness in the community because of these fucking marathon streams, there is a shared war kind of feel when you're together for a long stretch of time, but it actually it makes me think about endurance art, which I hate the whole idea of endurance art. It's insane. But if you're not familiar with it, there's some kinds of performance art where the whole point of it is it's gonna be rough, guys, but we're gonna sit here and watch this super boring ass thing for like 12 hours, you know. And all it is a extremely it's just like a film of this one patch of dirt and occasionally like an ant walks across it or something and it just stretches out for like 12 hours. And the whole idea is we're all gonna sit here and we're gonna endure this shit. You know? I hate that idea. It's terrible. It's a terrible idea. But it does have that kind of shared quality of like, oof, I can't say it was good. I can't say it was fun, but I can say we survived it. Does SE polar correlate with being smelly? Okay, let's change the word here, okay, from smelly to olfactorily active. Okay? Olfactorily active is a better term than smelly. Does SE polar correlate with a person's body becoming more olfactorily active? Yes. Musky. Musky is a good term too. Gamey. A rich, musky, gamey scent. I would say the body odor of an INTP is the venison of your major meats. You probably do, Hambone. You probably do. I get pretty clean. I'm pretty clean when Rachel's around because I like to have myself be clean so I don't have any qualms about sticking things places, you know? Basically, inserting things into places. I'm going to go ahead and insert this into that, if you don't mind. There you go. What's that? I can't understand you with that in your mouth. Oh, I'm hilarious. I'm still not ready to 100% believe it because I believe that I'm an ISFP for like 6 years now. Yeah, you are not an SE user. No SE tool user is so comfortable hanging out with us and so active. Like, if you were an ISFP, your name would pop up a lot less often in this live chat. They just don't get off on having shit come out of their mouth, you know? Well, there's no reason to shower when Rachel's not here. Who am I showering for? I mean, I shower before I go to work, so I don't stink for my clients, you know? Other than that, whatevs. I'm not like I'm going to be trying to pick up on chicks or anything, so it doesn't matter if I stink. Probably just as well. It's like, you know, working up a good gamey smell it's just as effective as wearing a wedding ring. So if you double up, you know you're protected from chicks. How does TI third slot hidden agenda play out in INFJs, and how is it different from ISFJs? In both instances, it's selfish approach to fairness. Fairness matters a lot. It's incredibly important that you be fair to the ISFJ or the INFJ. To them. It is not very important to them that you be treated fairly. It's not like they're going to treat you unfairly necessarily. It's just that it won't, that, you know, it's critically important that in an ENTP INFJ relationship, it's critically important that the ENTP get on affirmation and give on fairness, and vice versa for the INFJ, because that's their instrumental and absolute values. It's really easy, you know. Knock knock. Who's there? Voodoo. Voodoo who? Voodoo who you think you are? Asking all these questions. Who do you think you are? Asking all these questions. I like that. That's a good one, Eileen. I like that a lot. My, as I mentioned before, my historically favorite knock knock joke is knock knock, who's there? Dwayne. Dwayne who? Dwayne in the bathtub, I'm drowning. Is my historical favorite knock knock joke. But I got two knock knock jokes today that are gonna be in high competition for it. I've got a great knock knock joke, but you need to start it. It's the cleverest knock knock joke I have ever heard. And the most meta. But I also really like knock knock, who's there? Voodoo. Voodoo who? Who do you think you are asking all these questions? Is great. I like it. It's pun plus amusingly authoritarian in its approach to the other person, I guess you'd say that. I can't get over the I've got a great knock knock joke, but you've got to start it. It's so clever. It's so pleasingly clever. The thing is, as an indie dom, somebody who's pretty damn clever, it is not easy to impress me with cleverness. You got to really be fucking clever. Somebody's got to really do this back. Bam! Then I'm like, oh wow. Well, I hammered an elbow the other day with his Harsh and Mellows. Like that's an example of just like, wow, that's fucking slamming. But occasionally you see that sort of thing with NI people or whatever, If numbers have smells, each one would smell different, Eileen. At least 1 through 10. So let's talk about what smell each number has. 0 has the smell of darkness. 1 has the smell of what are those kind of flowers that come out earliest in the spring that are these little star-looking white things. They're from bulbs. What is this freaking thing's called? That's what number 1 smells like. Crocus. Thank you, Octavia Silver. Crocuses. Number 1 smells like crocus. Number 2 obviously smells like poo. Number 3 smells like freshly cut grass. 4 smells like a log cabin. 5 smells like fishing. 6 smells like a marching band. 7 smells like a craps table. 8 smells like where it is when you're standing waiting to get picked up from the airport. 9 smells like a melange of different smells. Like you're sitting in the kitchen, you smell a little bit of the food, but you also smell like dad's fart, and you also smell like a little bit of pollen from outside and various things. And then what does 10 smell like? I'm not sure 10 has a specific smell. Let me think. Oh, right. Of course, it smells like a glacier. And there you have it. All the smells of the first 10 numbers. Everyone's gone to the movies. Da, 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 da. Yeah. I smell like number 4. Log cabin with the door. I smell like logs. I smell like logs. I smell number 4. So anyway, folks, before you move any further into the evening's progression, please choose which of the 10 possible smells you would like to smell like and bathe in it. Well, it kind of smushes down. Okay. I don't like this thing, like this little pokey part. I don't know if it needs to be cut off or what. Number 1? Oh, number 1 smells like crocuses. You could also say it smells like the band Crocus with a K. If you're not familiar with the band Crocus, they're a heavy metal band from the 80s who did a reasonably successful cover of Ballroom Blitz. That was about the only good song they had. I think they might have had one other good song, but I don't remember exactly. Crocus. Why did they name it Crocus? Well, it sounds tough if you don't know what it means, you know. It's got cuh and cuss and row. Those are all hard ass sounds, you know. That's why they called that store Lulu Row instead of Row Row Lou. If they called it Row Row Lou, it would have been too masculine. No, Octavia Silva. 7 is not the objectively best number. Objectively best number is 4.41. 4.41. My favorite number. It's always been that since I was a little kid. Teacher asked me, "What's your favorite number?" 4.41. Or you might say 4 and 41/100ths. That's my favorite. It's always been. Why do you like that one so much, Eric? I like the inclusion of both the 4, the 100, and the 1. Yo, yo, yo. Bathing in the smell of raspberry like a smurf. If I was a dog, I'd pee up on my turf. I say a boom, boom, rap. Boom, boom, rap. I can rap all day long. That's how you rap. Good job, Nick Lachey. You are teaching me a lot today about rapping. Simply 4. The new product from the 4.41 Corporation. Asterisk. Note, Simply 4 may not be equal to 4. Boom, boom, explosion, yes, and rap. Boom, boom, explosion, yes, and that's. Boom, boom, explosion is how I begin when I start my rapping once again. Boom, boom, explosion, hear me rap. Yeah. Boom, boom, explosion, I'm so rap. Boom, boom, explosion, this music's trap, cause boom, boom, explosion. That's preview of Kendrick Lamar's next song. I've been working with him in the studio on it. I have. I have to work with him a lot. You know, some of his first ideas for his rap songs are just not right, you know, and I got to fix it. He has this tendency to want to start rapping about stores in the neighborhood with too much detail. So it's like in his recent song, he was trying to do this rap like, I sure do love the Payless shoe store, the way that they have all of the shoes organized. For example, I appreciate the fact that the children's sections are isolated from the adult sections because as an adult, I don't need to buy any shoes for children because I don't have any children. And you know what? You're really telling us a little bit too much here, Kendrick. I know you love that store, but I'm just going to suggest like you need to kind of fit it into a more of a general theme that has a little bit more universal resonance. You spend the whole third verse discussing the various virtues of Velcro versus laces and concluding that they're both cool, I guess. So you're not really giving anybody any guidance either on their fashion, you know. You actually have many favorite numbers: 3, 7, 21, 24. 37. This is a 21 I don't like. I don't know. 21 is an arrogant number. You know, it thinks too highly of itself. Now, 22, there's a number you can write home about. 22 is a big fan. I mean, I'm sorry. You got me. You put your words in my head, Jake. Stop. You stop putting words in my head. 22 and 4.41 are the bestest buddies. They're just super good friends. So those are my two important numbers. 4.41 and 22. Therefore, naturally, my third most important number is 26.41. Okay. Yeah, see, that's what 21's always trying to be like. It's always kind of like, hey, I'm a multiple of 2 primes. Like, stop, your flashy bullshit's not fooling me, 21. It's not fooling me. You got nothing. You got your 3, and you got your 7, and you got your multiplication, and that's it. I can't reduce you. I don't want to reduce you. When you add you together, it's like 3. That's all you got? 3. I'm a thinker, okay? 3 is a betrayal number for thinking. What do you think I am, a fucking cup? What do you think I have, a pinnacle? I'm a sword, goddammit. 3 is betrayal to me. You know, I get a little frustrated with the pent lovers. Pentacle lover. It's like, God, get your pentacles out of my swords before I stab you with them. Ethan McDonald says, Eric, hi. Long time listener, first time commenter. Ethan here. I do a lot of things over the course of the day and don't talk and brainstorm with people too much. Does this preclude me from an extroverted intuition one too? No, not at all. You know, if I weren't doing this, do you think there's a person that I'd have designated as my audience that would just sort of yammer out all day long? I don't think so. You know, prior to YouTube, I had long stretches of time where I was more or less extrovertedly intuitively silent. It was all going on in my head, you know? Because everyone had made it clear to me that they didn't want to hear any more of my bullshit. Even though it wasn't bullshit, right? They made it clear to me that they were going to take whatever I had to say as bullshit. It didn't matter how much sense it made. Oh, there goes Eric again with this yeah. But wait, hold on. But don't just be like, there goes Eric again with this meow. Actually, pay attention to the meow. Don't talk about. You talk about the meow, not about the there goes Eric again. You know, that was my experience prior to YouTube. And I learned very early on, nobody wants to talk about the meow. They're just mad at me for producing any meow. They don't care what the meow actually is. So just shut up, get drunk, and watch TV, which I did for years. But that's the alternative to this. Shut up, get drunk, and watch TV, Eric. That's what she never said that, of course. She didn't say shut up, get drunk, and watch TV. But that was fundamentally her message. She hated it when I posted things on Facebook. She hated it. No matter, like, it would have to be the most fucking tame, banal, pointless drivel that I put up there, or else I would get a little like, Eric, you know, you really have to be careful with this sort of thing. People are going to think, and you know, when I was drunk, I was like, yeah, okay, just take it down if you don't like it. Because I mean, I didn't trust myself to post things, so I assume she's probably right about everything. But yeah, but then, you know, prior to her, I realized that, you know, almost everything I want to say is going to elicit, at best, from most people around me, just about everybody who was significant in my life, best case scenario was, that's nice, dear. Yeah, ENTJs exist. I type them fairly often. Here's the thing, though. ENTJs don't hang around. Everything goes through this utilities thing, and there's no value to familiarity because they're SI polar. So there's no sense that because this is what I have been doing, or meow. You know, it's like they don't hang around. They're here for a stretch, but usually they pay me to type them, and once they're satisfied at the end of it, they got the right guy to do it, and he got it right, and his explanation is satisfying. Then off they go to continue working on their business and training for their triathlon and explaining why they had to quit guitar lessons, even though they were getting better because they weren't getting better fast enough, and weren't really sure how this was going to fit into their usefulness wise. And they did get how it would provide some sort of FE benefit in certain circumstances, but ultimately they didn't think the cost benefit ratio of playing the guitar it weren't getting good fast enough to justify it, the investment of time. That's the kind of shit that ENTJs do. I say, like, do you play an instrument? Well, I did for a while. I took lessons for about 7 months, I guess. I don't know, but ultimately, I just didn't see it as being worth the time investment because I was mostly looking for social outcomes from it, I guess. So, okay, so what you're telling me is you basically don't know how to do something just for the experience of it. And I'm kind of have this bit of a problem with this too, because I'm 4-slot SI. I tend to always think, if I'm going to play the guitar, for example, I should be playing in front of an audience at least, and if I am doing that, I should be recording it as well. I need to save it for posterity. That the experience alone is worthless unless I have some takeaway souvenir from it that is a time object that I created with my time object creating fingers. And then I can show it to somebody else and be like, see, give me FE now. That's why I ultimately do everything. So that you can like me. That's why I've decided to become a 50s doo-wop guy. Bow, whoa, whoa. Bow. Boom, 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 boom. The other guy, hi, 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 like that. They're like New Jersey guys from 1960 or 59 maybe, and like they got this. Where's my meowdy meows? They got this thing going on. Let me tell you one thing that's going on that's really cool is when you do this thing. You roll this up and like I got cigarettes here too. Like yeah. There. Got a smoke? Yeah. Right here. This isn't a shoulder pad. These are my reds, dog. That's where I keep them. I'm gonna have to get myself some tank tops, some beaters. You think this is masculine? Here's how I really man it up. I saw some chicks doing this when I was a kid. I was like, damn, that's manly. Right? This way, I can share my chest with you, and I have my breast covered properly like I'm supposed to. I don't want to get a ticket. I don't want to elicit too much sexual energies from the guys around here. So this way I'm modest enough, but I'm also free. It's me. It's summer. It's fun. I can be whatever. I can do however, We can go to the beach like this. I can go to the mall like this. I can even go out to a fancy dinner like this. This is an all-purpose outfit. Whereas if you just wear the normal t-shirt, then you're kind of limited. You can go to a sporting event, but not really to the museum. You could go maybe to the Museum of Natural History, but you can't go to the Museum of Fine Art, This is fine for barn dances as well. This is a great barn dancing shirt because when you are barn dancing, it gets a little sweaty, and this gives me plenty of venting. This area here is constantly getting too hot. That's why I have to wear my shirt like this. Okay. Now, this is my belly button. Not having it covered means if it rains, I can collect a little emergency water there. And if I'm trapped in the desert, then thereafter I can have a sip of water from my own belly button. Yeah. This is freeing. It's a freeing way to wear my shirt. I feel a lot freer than I did before I had my shirt like that, Like right now I feel like I'm in a prison of cloth when I wear my shirt like this. It's too much coverage. That must be how chicks like. How chicks generally like to wear less clothes if they look good wearing less clothes. You know. So if there's a chick who believes, probably correctly, that her boobs look good, then most chicks, it's like they'll find some way so that they show as much of them as possible. So you know, it's like I like that girl at the weed store one time that I saw, and somebody explained she probably had a cheaty trick to doing this. But the chick at the weed store, she's like this a African looking chick, um, cute, like probably 1920, and she had a shirt that only had a front. It didn't have any sides or back, and she somehow okay. Is this the new revolution? Is this Hambone's new revolution? I bet that's what Hambone's referring to. I am so good at my intuition, Hambone, aren't I? I'm an intuitive beast. See how little data I need to intuit what the revolution was? It's pretty impressive. Don't break your arm patting yourself on the back. No. I did give her the ranch. She quite, I think, rather insisted on it. So it's not, Zandy, that would normally be the case, but a little bit not so much for Eileen, I guess. Wait a second. Does this revolution end up removing my powers too? Hold on a second, Hambone. Like a month from now, Hambone's doing all live streaming, and I'm there in the chat. Can I please have my turn? You guys didn't even notice my haircut or Hambone's wrench cut. I didn't really get it. I didn't really get a haircut recently. Nicolay Share, were you supposed to talk about something? Were we going to talk about? You wanted more? You wanted advice about your colon, right? You were saying you're not sure what it does. You keep trying to reach it with a stick or something. What were you saying about your colon? I feel relief actually, Hambone. When you said that, I wasn't sure. Like, I'm sure it's like a pleasant surprise, but not really knowing what you're talking about makes me sort of have this sort of lingering slight worry. Like, is there going to be a bad surprise? So it sort of relieves a little bit of lingering ontological diarrhea. I wouldn't call it diarrhea. I call it a little lingering ontological. Like I hadn't fully wiped from my last poop. Now I have, like that. What's the best colon to buy? Best smelling colon to buy. Well, who was talking to me about that colon a second ago? Who was asking me about it? Nicolay Shea, right, colon. So Lou and Nicolay, this isn't just a coincidence that you guys are both talking about colons to me. That's the slabs trying to tell us something. And what I think it's trying to tell us is that we need to add a product to the inventory of, now that's a lot of hyphens. Asterisk. We also sell asterisks. Asterisks. And colons now. No, Zandy. You mean the color blue makes the word relaxing, and also more blue. That's what you mean. You don't mean the word relaxing is blue. You mean the word blue is relaxing. You don't mean that either. You mean the color blue is the word relaxing. You don't mean that either. You mean the color blue has the impact of relaxing you. That's why it's known as the laxatives of colors. All your blues. Is it buffering for everyone or just for Lean, who's buffer mean? It's only buffering for you, Arlene. It looks for you like it's buffering time. Buffering time. Buffering time. I'm going to educate you with the rap. With the rap. If you want to rap and not be evil, you better educate the people. If you're going to rap about tough and bad, then you're just a bad rapping man. Rap for good. Educate with your rap like you should about some wood. Wood is something you can use. You get it from the trees. If you don't believe it so, you can believe it's me. I will teach you about the trees and how to break some wood. And when we're done, we'll have a quiz and review like we should. Educate. 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 With your super cool raps. If you want to make connection with the kids all around you, you better educate them with a music that they do. It's called rap. It's called rap. It's called rap. Educate you with that rap. Okay, so what we just saw here is how powerful rapping can be in educating the youth of America. When I have students come into the classroom and they seem like they're just not there, they're there physically, their body's there, they're not disrupting, but their spirit is elsewhere, their soul, their mind. They're thinking about cartoons, what happened at home. They're thinking about, why playing that video game, eating that candy bar. And I say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to stand here and demand your attention. I'm going to earn it. I'm going to learn about what you guys think is cool. And I did a little research, and if you Google it, what do young people think is cool these days? The answer, number one result, is rap music. So I thought, hey, here's how I'm going to get through to these kids. Here's how I'm going to connect. Thanks, Hambone. I'm going to connect with rap music. Okay, so here's an example. No, 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 little Jake. You don't write your cursive A like that. You got to make it loop, loop-a-doop, boop-a-boop. So when a student asks me a question, like, can you please explain how deontology, why deontology would not be appropriate in this international relations topic? I do. I do it in rap, though, and that way they really remember it. Of course, I can't actually give you really good explanations in rap necessarily because I have to paraphrase the rhyming and shit. And sometimes I do include a lot of false information or misinformation or teach things wrong. Sometimes I educate people for months before I realize I don't know what I'm talking about. But the important thing is that I'm connecting with the students. So, like a student asked me, why don't we just all float off into space? The reason we don't float to space is because your feet have glue. That's what stops you from going up into space is the glue. Now, if I had to try to explain it in words, they wouldn't have any idea why people don't fly up into space. I don't have any idea. But when I'm rapping, the explanation comes to me. It must be because there's glue on our feet. And now a whole new generation of children understands why we don't fly up into space. Whereas prior to me rapping it, nobody knew why. That's the power. That's the power of people moving. That's the power of puberty. I want to harness the power of puberty by accessing seepage resources from the moisture production that correlates with puberty. Is Cloud here? Oh, hi, cool Paul Cloud. Hi, Cloud Paul. How you doing? If you want to remember the name of the people, wait for someone else to say it. Otherwise, you'll have to keep track of a bunch of old people and different identities. I'm not Cloud, I'm Paul. I'm super, super cool, Paul. I hate clouds because they fly by like yo. Go fly a kite is a great insult, or it's like a diss, right? Talk about aloe, right? Get some aloe cloud. Go fly a kite. Another cool one is, and this is if you want to get real. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Hambone. You and I are on the same page, dog. If somebody would ask me, if I would say, you better watch it, and they say, you in what army? I'm going to say, me and Hambone. That's what army. I don't need any more army than that. If it gets physical, I'll just sacrifice Hambone. But if it stays metaphysical, you're not going to be able to handle the two of us. Okay. Okay, Ink Cloud. Ink Cloud. Don't finger my taint in so suggestive a fashion. Please don't finger my taint unless you mean it so true. When you licked on my chode that warm Christmas morning, I said, Santa, is that you? Please don't finger my taint with your pinky and Saint Nicholas's Christmas clothes, unless you know where that goes from taint down the chode road to some place you might call heaven. Oh, jazz standard that I really love, Please don't finger my taint unless you mean it. Ella Fitzgerald was the one who really made it famous originally. But it's been done by so many people. The Mel Torme obviously did his version. Bing Crosby. I really like the Foo Fighters version of it. Actually, it's weird. It's you wouldn't think they would get that song so rocking as they did. They pulled it off. Hairless Paul. When Hairless Paul arrived, everybody said, "Why don't you have any hair, Paul?" And he had no answer. He just looked confused. Did you know what hair is, Paul? Again, just confusion. That's when we realized he was a member of the hairless mole people. Had lived his entire life under the ground and had never learned to speak. I mean, he made little grunts, obviously, made little mole sounds. He had a collection of moles in his pockets. That didn't mean he could communicate. I mean, yeah, he could communicate in mole code, which is basically, to communicate in mole code is the same thing as using smoke signals, but the smoke is made from burning moles. You can use either little animals or like the thing on the back of my neck. Either one works fine. I'm a naked mole rat. You ain't. Is not something anybody's ever said in a rap, I'm pretty sure, before. You could use, if you wanted to do like a battle rap where you're dissing your opponent, you could say, you experience biological decay. Yes, you age. Yes, you age. Unlike me, I'm naked, mage. I'm a naked motherfucking mole rat. See what he says. If he has a comeback for it, I don't know. He probably prepped a comeback for that one already. That's pretty obvious. You are to aging as a fruit fly, while I am to aging as the naked mole rat. Ooh, burn. Ooh, burn. Sounds like a Logan Paul lyric. Grow a brain instead? Got that cancer patient flow? Better grow a brain instead, cause you're sounding like a Logan Paul. Oh no! I don't want to sound like Logan Paul. That guy's a moron. I just saw the most generic scene ever in a movie. What happened in the scene? Was everybody buying generic products at the supermarket? Logan Paul raps. If I were Logan Paul, I wouldn't be tall. I'd feel kind of small and sit at the mall. Wondering, wish I could go back in history, y'all, and redo all my mistakes. I wish I hadn't gone to old Japan. I'm Logan Paul. No, Rogan Paul. I wish I hadn't gone there to Japan. That sure certainly was dumb. I wish I had a little bit more stuff there. Every day, bro. Every day. Who's every day? Every day Logan Paul's at your house? Why? Every day. Like, wake up, like Logan Paul's like sitting right here, looking, staring in your eyes. Like, what are you doing here? His only answer, every day. That doesn't answer my question. I'm Logan Paul. Every day. Why are you talking like that, Logan Paul? Why do you have two first names? And God, just you're such a censor. He is such a censor. Logan Paul is such a censor. No offense to censors, not at all. I'm not saying any offense to censors, but I mean, like, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't understand why people watch the shit they do on YouTube. Obviously, look at the stuff that's super popular. Some of it, I get why it's popular. Like, if you look at Frank James, I totally understand why he's more popular than the other members of the typology community. He's more talented. He's got a better vision of his videos. He's clever. He's intuitive. He's more intuitive, basically. I would also say he found a way to bypass the INFJ pitfalls around him. INFJs have pitfalls around them because they know when they're not fully succeeding artistically or something, right? So I guess probably one of the reasons why Frank James has managed to continue to make more and good videos is as simple as this. He's a particularly practiced at finishing things INFJ creatively. Like, he obviously had a lot of creative energies prior to starting YouTube, and I've watched him sort of evolve a bit over the time that he's been here, and his video making has gotten really like pro, you know. In fact, one of the reasons I made that whale video, which is excerpts of jokes from like a 10-hour live stream, is because I have noticed how effectively he edits. And I actually think that, or whoever he has editing from, I don't know, maybe so, maybe not. But regardless, I have to say that the video I uploaded this morning or whatever it was called World's Tastiest Humpback Whale Recipe is maybe the best. It's the best job of editing I've ever done on that kind of video. Editing comedy, basically. Editing comedy is very precise in the way that music is, kind of, almost. You got to get all the timings right. You got to get the rhythm of the whole thing to flow properly. And if you do a video like that right, then the video carries you from the moment it starts to the very end, and then you're like, oh, it's over. And because you're not carried informationally, really. You know, you're not learning anything. You're not following along a set of ideas as they progress. You're just experiencing humor, like humor points like this. And if the spacing of the humor points is right, both within themselves, in other words, they have to have their own natural pacing, and among themselves, then the video pops. And there's not any moment where you are impatient or bored or think I beat that horse too much, you know, anything like that. But it took me many hours to get those 7.5 type minutes edited up properly, not clumsily. And I didn't even add any bells and whistles. So it's not like I had any background music or anything like that. Just dealing with the timing of the comedy. Now, if you haven't watched that video and you feel like watching it, I'd appreciate anybody who feel like watching it, and to see if, in fact, their experiences as I indicate, namely that they're carried straight through from the beginning to end. There's no moment where they're like, okay, come on, hurry it along, or no moment where they're like, wait, you went too fast, I missed it. I would enjoy hearing any indications to the contrary is fine too. Like if you say, actually, there was a part here where you really should cut that thing out. I usually have that kind of feeling after I do comedy stuff that the more I sit with it, the more I wish I had made it even leaner. But this one, I do believe that in this instance, I'm not going to have any regrets. Because the reason I think this is after I'd made it, I played it on YouTube. I got to the end of it. It was like, wait, hold on, I didn't catch that yet. So I pushed replay, and then no, well, I can moderate. Rachel can moderate. I don't want Rachel forsaking her wrench because she was the very first moderator I made. And the only reason I made her as a moderator anyway was to have fun making a joke, trying to pretend like I had carefully chosen Rachel to be my moderator because of her moderating skills. But really, it was just because this is my new girlfriend, you know. But I thought it was a funny joke, but other people don't really think that stuff's funny. But I don't know. It's sort of a funny. It's me having fun, you know. But thanks, Octavia Silva, about the editing comment. It would, yeah. I feel like I'm improving, growing as an artist, basically, or as a video maker or whatever. And the nice thing is I can compare, and this is what it means to be an SI user as well. I have attempted lots of humor videos in the past, and I have learned over time just how critical it is editing to be precise. Increasingly over time, I've learned more and more. I realize now it's really like music because of the way that the rhythms of comedy work. And you got to just, yeah, hey, Octavia Silva, be like, listen, bitch, I don't get leverage to do fuck. So you want me to do something, you better put that leverage stick away. I don't respond to pressure or leverage or requests or entreaties or reason or logic or anything ever about anything. I'm Octavia Silva, INFP. You're welcome. That's his 10-point manifesto. That's Octavia Silva's 10-point manifesto. Good job. You know, I'm as a TI tool user, you and I sometimes disagree with our introverted deliberated function, but we both fundamentally get it. Individuals and what they feel like is more important than what the group wants. Okay? Look, you guys can whatever, but I don't care about what you think. I care about how I feel. My feelings are the only feelings I have. Obviously, I'm going to prioritize them. And right now, I'm feeling curious. I'm feeling curious about you. Tell me about yourself. When did you first become a member of the Ku Klux Klan? Oh, you're not a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Oh. Why the white outfit? Oh, Colonel Sanders, huh? Are you dead? Pretty sure. Everybody has their weaknesses. No one will hide from me. My name is Zandy, and I exploit people's weaknesses for breakfast. Hey, can I spread some cream cheese on that weakness? How about a little orange marmalade? Hi, I'm host Eric, and today I want to talk with you about marmalade. Is this the mic that's being used here? I don't even know. But yeah, it is. It is good. Good. All right. So Before we proceed any further, if there are any people with any marmalade allergies, please raise your hand so we can come talk to you privately. Now, no? Okay, good. So if you can please take out the box of prepared materials I provided for everybody on their desk, you will find in there 1 orange, 1 can of liquefied marmalade juice, 1 empty glass jar with a lid on it, and you'll see that there's a little metal disc. That's a canning disc, okay? All right, so please everybody take your orange out and place it on a desk in front of you. Now, the first time I make your orange marmalade is take the orange and remove the peel from the orange. And you can do this with either your fingers, or if you can't do it with your fingers, some people start the peeling process with their teeth. You may find that a little bit bitter. If you really need help, you can raise your hand. I can come over to you and chop your orange in half with this big knife. Okay, everybody got their orange out? Good. No, not like Octavia. No. Octavia, good. Go wash your hands, please. All right. So, just a quick warning: don't do what Octavia did. You do not just smash the orange with your hand. You take the peel off of the orange. I know you got frustrated, Octavia. That doesn't justify you having a little tantrum like that. Go wash your hands, clean up your orange. You can get another one from the front. Okay, now everybody's oranges have been peeled, right? Okay, so I want you to just put that the jar, the marmalade is ultimately going to end up in. Just go ahead and shove the orange into that jar. Just push it down. Now is when you push it, Octavia. Well, no, your orange hasn't been peeled yet. Hannibal, can you please help Octavia peel his orange? All right, now, good, Zandy. Zandy got it in there. Oh, your fist is stuck in there? Okay, you have tiny hands, Zandy. Wow. Yeah. I mean, can you bring me some soap, please? I'm gonna try to add more water. Zandy's got her hand stuck in the jar. You're gonna have to start over. You're gonna get soap in there. You don't want to eat soap in your marmalade. Hambone, listen. The reason you can't get it open is because your hands are wet. Dry your hands first, and you'll have better grip on the thing. Oh, you're talking about the orange. I thought you were talking about the lid. What? Okay. Hold on, everybody. I got a phone call. Hello? I'm good. How are you? Three things. What day is it? Tuesday? Yeah, right now, I'm sorry, everybody, hold on. Right now, I'm teaching a class on how to make orange marmalade. Okay, so tonight at what time? 8 to 9? Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Thursday? Yeah, okay, Thursday. I'm writing it down. Thursday, and then today, today, 8 to 9. Today's Wednesday? I say it's Tuesday. Okay. All right, so yeah, tonight, Tuesday, 8 to 9. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. Oh, yeah, sure. Friday. Oh, okay. What time's the first round? Oh, I'll figure that out later. Friday. Yeah, I can drive him on Friday, no problem. And Saturday too. Yeah, no problem. I can do that too. Mattias, you put down your marmalade juice. I'm talking to a client right now. I do not have time to be scolding you. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. If you go to, it's called pediatric Manatee Mass something in Long Beach, and it's a place that specializes in ADHD. That's all they do. You go take your kid there, and they say, okay, you're here for a speed prescription, and oh, you actually did some legwork before you got here and got tested, and you already showed me your ADHD. Great. So why do you want it on it? Oh, he's doing bad in school. Okay, fine. Here's the drugs. Just like that. It's easy squeezing. No. You shouldn't be spending on testing. No, you shouldn't spend anything on testing. Call Dr. Livingston at the Long Beach place and say, my kid's debate coach is Eric Strauss, and one of your patients is Delilah Strauss, and he's been very pleased with you as a doctor, and we want those drugs for my kid now too. Basically, just tell her that, and then she'll. No. She'll just sit down and chat with you. You'll just have a brief meeting. She sits down and chats. She's not going to make you take a bunch of assessments. You can tell you've already been assessed. You had multiple conversations with me, the family who already had their kid on it. She knows Delilah. Mention that, and she'll just write you the script. It's be fine. No big deal. Because look, you're not trying to get it for yourself. You're trying to get it for your kid. There's a lot less pushback on that because they know you're not a drug addict trying to get speed. Because you're not even trying to get it for yourself, Well, yeah, it's speed. I've talked to you about this. It's amphetamines. I'm saying you have to decide whether you want to put your kid on speed or not. That's not ADHD. I tell you what. Let me tell you what I can do for you, and this will resolve this problem. I'm gonna have to mute something for a second because hold on. Yeah, sure. Uh, I'll see you tonight. Yeah. You said Tuesday 8 to 9. You said Tuesday, right? Okay. You just Google Dr. Livingston, Long Beach. Dr. Livingston is a very famous name because it's a doctor in like a movie or something, or actually history. It's like Yeah, Dr. Livingston, Dr. Lori Livingston, and it just put Dr. Lori Livingston, Long Beach, and she'll pop up. Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks a lot. No problem. Bye. People don't understand ADHD at all. Like, this woman who's obviously not ADHD. She couldn't be any more. I'm 90% sure she's an ESTJ. But regardless, she's definitely not ADHD. She's Tiger Mom. She's on top of everything. She got furious at her husband for dilly dallying. I put him in charge of one thing. I put him in charge of sending the check to Berkeley for the registration, and he sat on it for a week. And now I can't get it open, and it's his fault. you know, Charlie Howell will get him into JV. It's fine. He doesn't need to be an open. He's an eighth grader. So she's super ESTJ-ish in general, and what that means is she's bipolar, which means she'll often ask me, she'll hum and haw back and forth about things that have a determinate answer, like whether or not to put her kid on speed. That is a question I understand any parent struggles with. I struggle with it. They wanted to put Delilah on speed years before I allowed it. It wasn't until she just started like failing all of her classes in ninth grade, basically. Like she got F's and stuff, and we're just like, okay, I'm not gonna do the legwork to make sure you do your homework. I'm not gonna. I don't care what grades you get. I don't care if you get F's. Everybody else does. She did. Delilah did. Candace did. My parents did. Candace's parents did. Melinda, her biological mother, who knows what she thinks, but her parents did. But so as a consequence, all of a sudden there was a lot of push by everybody except me, but Delilah on speed. It's funny. That's utilitarianism. For me, the question of whether or not she should go on speed should be answered without a consideration of impacts. It's like, well, who cares about the school thing? If in fact she goes on speed, my consideration would be this: like, well, I hope she'll be empowered then to tweak out on what she wants to tweak out on, rather than stupid pointless schoolwork, or homework. Or do a history poster. You can take your homework and shove it up your butt, okay? You have my kid for 6 hours a day at school, and now you want to lay claim to her time outside of that time as well? F off. Can you imagine if your boss did that? You get off, oh shit, I got my shift's over. Okay, well here, don't forget to do this homework at home. But you're gonna pay me for it? No. I just want you to do a little mopping at home. Here, take these, this set of tabletops here. I'll help you load it into the car. I want you to take those home and scrub them and bring them back tomorrow. So am I on the clock? No. This is your homework. Okay. This is what you got to do to make sure you keep up with what needs to be done around here. I don't pay you to do your job. Basic shit you got to do your job. This is pre-job work you need to do. What? It's the part you need to do by yourself. It's not my job that you're doing. It's your job for you in order to enable you to do the work that I need you to do. But the point is, I wouldn't do this at all if you weren't telling me to. So shouldn't you pay me for it? The same thing with school. It's like you forced me to be here and learn, purportedly. And what your job is to educate me. And you're telling me that you're going to do your job of educating me by telling me to go home and educate myself. Can I do my job of putting out fires by telling the homeowner to put out their own goddamn fire if I'm a fireman? Is there any other job where people can do this? Okay, well, listen, here's what I want you to do. I'm a doctor, yes, true, but I want you to go home. I want you to take this stethoscope. I want you to take this thermometer. I want you to get a scale, get your own scale. I'm not going to provide a scale. I want you to do all these diagnostics, write them all down. I want you to access this medical database, figure out what is likely wrong or not wrong with you. You come in here, tell me your diagnosis of yourself, explain your justifications for it, show me the data, and then I'll either stamp it as good, you were correct, or no, you're wrong, go do it again. That's what it means to be your doctor. That's how I take care of your medical needs, by telling you to go home and take care of them yourself. Sure, paying kids allowance in exchange for chores is common practice probably everywhere, Nick Lachey. My question is this: do you pay kids to go to school? Do kids have a choice to go to school? Actually, I decided to not go to school. I'm going to play with my friends instead all day. Do any kids have a choice to do that? I don't know. Should they? I don't know. They shouldn't be forced to go to school if they don't like it, especially if they're experiencing, social or emotional harms by being there. Like if somebody's getting picked on, there's a natural solution to bullying. People who want to bully somebody need to have somebody to bully. Now, if somebody wants to bully me and I'm not stuck in the same place with them, then they either need to start following me around, or they can't go into my house. So they have to stand outside and start yelling in my house or something, and or bother me in a public space. I could choose to, okay, if you're going to follow me down the sidewalk and start bullying me, I'll go into this coffee shop here, or I'll go into the police station or something, or I'll go someplace where you can't go, like my grandma's house or whatever. So even though it's possible to continue bullying without a school setting, it requires a lot of ongoing effort on the part of the bully to keep your location current to them and make sure you're where they are, and yada yada. Now, of course, a bully has things they'd like to be doing too, probably, besides just bullying people. But if they're locked in a school where they don't want to be, well, do what you do while you're here, because you can't choose to do what you do. So you do what you choose. It's a little different, right? Rachel bullies the living hell out of me, but not emotionally. She always says kind words. She just randomly beats me up and takes my lunch money is what she does. The part of the conversation I muted, I figured that my half of the conversation would be too revelatory regarding their personal business. So that's why I muted it. So because she was asking me questions that required me to provide answers that would have been too revelatory about their personal business or aspects of it that I shouldn't talk about, or I don't feel comfortable talking about, or whatever, So that's why I muted it there. I don't actually like at all to expose people's private business, though some people think I do, but yeah. But anyway, I really like those people a lot. I consider both the parents friends. And one of the main reasons is I feel so very totally respected by them. They call me to ask me a lot of advice about shit, even when it's not even about debate. And they don't necessarily follow my advice, but they take me seriously enough to think that my advice is worth hearing. And because my client's kid is an ENTP, I feel like I want them to hear my advice, and they need to hear my advice because they're sensors and their kid's an intuitive and my kind of intuitive, and I can see where, the sort of shit that I had I didn't get. I had no way to understand anything when I was a young ENTP, like my client. He has an incredible advantage in the sense that he has intuitive teacher explaining the meta shit to him and to his parents. There was no meta shit when I was a kid. I had no idea about personality types. I had no notion about cognitive functions, and everybody simply was who they were without reflecting upon it. That's the thing about a metaphysical environment is it encourages reflection, self-reflection, and therefore growth. When you're in a fully physical environment, like you have to get up and go to school every day. That's such a for an in a contemporary perspective, from an ENTP perspective or INTP perspective or any intuitive perspective, it's absolutely insane to rip a person from the most natural and conducive learning environment called the internet, the metaphysical ecosystem, and force them to use a half-assed hybrid metaphysical ecosystem called books in a physical room that actively restricts their ability to engage meaningfully with the information and forces it into this weird TE approximation that's no longer necessary. So yeah, the other thing Rachel does is I get a lot of Miyagi rug burns from her, whether I want them or not. She's constantly telling me that I have some sort of injury. You know, she's rubbing her hands together. I found, no, I'm fine, Rachel. I'm fine. Ah! And there she goes, rub burning my cock again. Stop rub. When you use a rope burn upon my cock, you make it kind of raw. And then I need to get some Neosporin from y'all. Indian burn treatment balm. Penal Indian burn treatment balm. Host Eric's special penal Indian burn treatment balm is the single best penis Indian burn treatment method available over the counter today. Now, if you ever had a really serious Miyagi rug burn, then you know that the prescription level stuff will be very effective in relieving some of the pain and swelling. I want to tell you this though. I here at Host Eric's all natural penal rope burn treatment balm incorporated factory, we have found a natural way to attain the same kind of results that you used to be only able to get by a prescription. We use a proprietary blend of natural herbs and spices in our ointments and balms to render them from either just an ointment or just a balm into a combination ointment salve or a combination balm salve. And when you include salving qualities in your ointments, that's when life really starts to make sense. So if you're a seeker of some sort, if you're looking for some sort of spiritual truth, if you're looking for some sort of answers, what's the path? If you're looking for some sort of resolution, why am I here? What does it mean to be good? What does it mean to be moral? Go out and buy yourself a tube of Host Eric's penal rope burn treatment solvent ointment, not tested on animals, organically sourced in nutmeg, and fair trade relations with all the farmers produce all the spices. It is edible. It is gluten free. So if you, let's say I mean, it's also very effective. So let's say you apply the Host Eric's brand penal rope burn treatment solve to your penal rope burn, and you know it only takes one application, and the next day you're fine. What do you do with the rest of the tube? You could save it for your next penal rope burn. If you don't want to, you can spread it on toast and eat it. And like I said, it is gluten free. It's not vegan, not entirely vegan. It does have a little bit of whale in it, mostly blue whale. Okay, it's mostly blue whale. It's actually all blue whale. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It's ground up blue whale with some spices. You can eat it though. You can totally eat it. And blue whales, It would have been okay. I wanted to do it with sperm whales because obviously the spermaceti inside of a sperm whale is the best treatment for a penile rope burn. But do you know how expensive sperm whales are these days? It's like I can't afford to go buy a bunch of dead sperm whales because they're way too expensive. So I just settled on blue whales. Well, it's not like blue whales are way more common, but they're so large that one blue whale is enough whale meat to make over 10,000 tubes of Host Eric's brand penile rope burn treatment solvent ointment incorporated. Yeah, Rachel, stop beating me up with your loving ways. Stop beating my eyes up with your beauty. Stop beating my cock up with your incredibly sexy body. Stop taking my lunch money from me just to buy us some lunch with it. Oh, wait, that's okay, I guess. It's our lunch money anyways. Stop beating me up with your love. Your heart feels so good. Like a punch to the solar plexus when my plexus is made out of wood. Living with Rachel as the love of my life in my life is like constantly driving a succession of brand new Yaris's every day for the rest of your life. How much of it would we need to use on actual blue whales? I mean, if a blue whale were to get a penile rope burn, like let's say, well, Nicolay Shea is a famous hand job guy. Let's say Nicolay Shea were to go give his famous Miyagi rug burn to a blue whale. And if he were doing it, it wouldn't take long. Let me tell you, he's an expert. But I know I've had one from him. And it's just the right amount of open sores afterwards, just the right amount of seepage. Anywho, I think you probably need at least 2 tubes for the whale's penis. It does go a long way. It is, after all, made out of blue whale, which it's very oily. It's very viscous. It's kind of like mucus. It's kind of like the mucus of the sea. It's kind of like a cross between mucus and aloe vera because it's kind of got that mucusy quality, but instead of being a disgusting bodily fluid, it's actually a healing mucus. Okay? Don't go swimming in the Salton Sea until after I get it cleaned up. It's absolutely the most disgusting body of water in the history of mankind until and unless I win the presidency and clean up the Salton Sea. You know who was the only person in history of America who's really been an advocate for the Salton Sea? Anybody know the answer to this besides me? I'm talking about like a public figure who's really been an advocate for the Salton Sea and really tried to do his best to save the Salton Sea. One person. Only one person. Who was that one person? Anybody know the answer? I'll give you a hint. He died in a skiing accident. It's a pretty good hint. It's a pretty big hint. Does Goss draw know? Well, I will admit Goss draws that when we correct, Desert ICJ wins, except he's spelled Sunny, but that's fine. It's SONNY. You know, now, you spell it like Sunny Funshine. I mean, funny sun. No, Sunny Funshine, right? Sunny Funshine's name is spelled like that. Sunny Funshine is a girl who's unemployed currently. She can't get a. Wasn't a fan of Sonny Bono. Okay, I wasn't a fan of Sonny Bono either. I was a fan of that one particular advocacy of his, which is he was a fan of the Salton Sea. Philosophical thinking, I see, asked me about the topic. What up, G? I say, we're gonna learn today with some raps. That way you young folks will get that. You go, wow, I identify, man. You're rapping just like those guys that I watch on the MTV or the VH1. You're rapping, see? Now I know, Eric, you are cool. You can teach that shit in school because you rap just like us. We know you're the same. You're a bunch of wonderful stuff. And we learn. And that's why, philosophical thinker, you got educational rap burn. Yeah, don't do drugs, kids. Hey there, Goss, don't do drugs. Nicolas Shea, also don't do drugs. Matthew Alistair, don't do drugs because doing drugs is losing. If you have a question, go and ask. The only dumb questions are the ones we don't ask. Except for questions about doing drugs, don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. If you do drugs, I don't like you. If you do drugs, go get a bicycle. If you do drugs, crash your bicycle and hurt yourself in the process. That's my message to drug users everywhere. Okay. Also, drug dealers. They're pouring poison onto our children. Drug dealers deserve maximum mandatory minimums of life imprisonment. The answer to all our problems, more draconian laws. The answer to all our problems, unjust draconian laws. Yeah, come on, kids. It's okay. We don't need any of those rights anyway. Go ahead. Search my butt. Search my butt. Search my butt. There might be drugs up there and stuff. Thank you for making me safe. There should never be an occasion. I was thinking about this. Is there ever an occasion where a coerced cavity search is legitimate? Is there any occasion? Is there any reason why that's ever justified, a coerced cavity search? What could you possibly be hiding in your butt that would justify somebody forcibly looking into your cavity and reaching into your butt to see if you have anything in there? Is there anything you could be carrying that would justify that? Or remembering that you're never necessarily carrying it because people are searching you means they don't know, right? So is there anything that you can imagine that somebody might theoretically carry in their butt that justifies ever using a coerced cavity search, which is definitely anal rape by process of law? Now, that would be interesting if you went to, say, a security thing and they said to you, listen, we're concerned you might have something up your butt. Can you please look up there for us and double check that you don't? And we'll trust you, your answer, of course. This is your butt. This is your butt on drugs. Your butt is on drugs because there are drugs in your butt. Ergo, this is your butt. Was one of the first logical arguments that Socrates explained to the people in ancient Greece. Okay. First of all, Desert INTJ, can anybody fit a suitcase up their butt? Before I'm going to take you seriously that a suitcase nuke might seriously be in someone's butt, I want to see you put a suitcase in your butt. Right. I mean, the whole school system basically says, here's this thing that 20% of people are really well suited to. Everyone's forced to do it. And if you're not one of those 20%, I'm going to make sure by the time you're done here, you've internalized some bullshit about yourself because you are not adequate. That's our system? What? Why? Who? Oh, Snatch Nuke is a snook. I don't think you could fit a nuclear weapon that's in a vagina into a butt. Because you got to get just not the nuke, but also the vagina. And yeah, I saw that episode. I did see it. Usually people worry about suitcase nukes. I worry about nukes so small that you might mistake them as a dinner roll and accidentally eat them. If you've accidentally eaten a nuclear weapon, step one, stop. Don't do anything hasty. Okay? If you have accidentally eaten a nuclear bomb, stop. Now, calm down. Now check. First, think. Do you remember before you ate it, was it ticking, beeping, or otherwise indicating a countdown of some sort? If the answer is yes, calmly, not in a hurry, move away from people. Okay? You're going to move in the direction that is away from people. For example, let's say you're in the center of a city, move towards the outskirts of the city. Or let's say you're next to a group of school children on a field trip. Tell the school children to go over there. Maybe you can make an excuse like I need to go smoke a cigarette. Um, After you're done walking away from people, find yourself a nice isolated spot and squat. Prepare yourself for quite a long ordeal. It's not easy to pass a nuclear weapon through your colon, and it's not fun. I've done it multiple times now because I don't know if it's bad luck or just I'm not paying attention. I need to be more mindful or whatever. But I have accidentally consumed on 3 separate occasions dinner-sized nuclear bombs. And I was afraid. The first time I did, I thought I was going to die. I was sure I was going to die. But I just took my time, and I was constipated for a while. But after squatting long enough, it passed. Now, it was about the same as the time that Big Tom fisted me for about an hour. Felt like that kind of. He got big fists, so. But I had practice, I had warmed up with Big Tom. And I know I was warming up for this, but in fact, I had been in training for this my whole life. And second time I ate one, pooped out, came out a lot easier. The third time I ate one, I accidentally ate quite a substantially larger one, swallowed it whole. I'm also good at swallowing large things whole. It was about the size of a softball, but I guess my butthole has gotten acclimated, you would say, acclimated to passing nuclear bombs. Pooping is great. Pooping makes you feel light, empty, free like a bird on the wings of wonder, flying on gossamer wings of fairy dust of niceness. It's a wonderful time. It's weird. I had a huge ass poop yesterday. So huge that it was like, how could I possibly have had all that poop in me? Like an hour ago, I didn't feel like I had to go poop at all. And then now here I sit down and it must have filled up from my waist all the way up to my throat and with poop. There's so much poop coming out of it. And I don't know where it had been. It's like it spontaneously generated all of a sudden. It wasn't there an hour ago, and now there's no way they could have moved that many troops into that little area in that little time. You've seen some big ones at theme parks, huh? Well, look, don't be intimidated. Those people are hired for their ability specifically to have huge poops. You're no less of a man because your poops are smaller. Noah, everyone has their own size poops, okay? And let me say, there are a lot of people who don't want to even be with somebody who has massive poops. It seems so sexy, like, Eric, God, your poops are huge. You must have your pick of the ladies. Not necessarily. Only some chicks are into big poop guys. Some chicks don't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Some chicks think, no, I'd rather have smaller poops because I hate the way it smells. And if you're going to force me to stand in the bathroom with you every time you poop, I'd rather you poop small poops, Sarah, I said, Pete, we're talking about, there's a lot of bias in society, and it's not fair. There's a couple areas, like shorter guys have some bias against them. Also, small poop guys. There's no reason for women to be discriminating against them. Just because a guy doesn't make the biggest poop in the world, I don't make the biggest in the world. I make a particularly large poop. I don't like getting any extra credit for that. Like, sometimes I worry, would Rachel even be with me if I made small poops? I don't know. Sometimes I make smaller ones, but even then they have the big smell. It's like a big, thick cloud of meaty, gamey grossness. And I say, Rachel, you stand in this bathroom and you sniff only through your nose. Don't breathe through your mouth at all. So I guess it matters somewhat. Sarah Isaac P. I don't want to, no. Sarah Isaac P. has a problem with this. I've had this fight before. She says the only healthy relationship is one where the woman has bigger poops. No, Sarah. That's not true. Just because you shouldn't be locked into the social norm doesn't mean the exact opposite of the social norm is what you should be locked into. That's just poor thinking. I'm doing the pre-work for it right now, Nicolay Shea. I'm talking through the important poop-related issues. Yeah, yellow cake poo. Well, that's what I keep saying is you're not keeping a close eye on Canada. I sent them a number of yellow cakes. I've received back neither the cake nor anything else. What do you think happened to the cake, and what do you think it's maybe becoming? I have proof that Canada's received a bunch of yellow cake. I sent it a bunch of yellow cake myself and filmed myself doing it. So if they aren't making yellow cake poo, what are they doing with the yellow cake? Just storing it underground? I don't think so. Just keeping it on the shelf in the bakery forever? I don't think so. I don't think any of us are dumb enough to believe that. Especially now when all the cakes I sent them had in cursive letters, happy birthday, happy Canada Day, hey Canada, what the fuck Canada, and various sort of other things like that. Like, oh, for the Lord's sake, do you have maple syrup in your fucking brain? That was one of them. I am so done with Canada's cake obsession. So is Mattias. Okay, I think I might be wrapping this up now. It's 2 hours. It's a short live stream. It's like, wow, only 2 hours? But we just barely got started, Eric. We got at least 8 more hours, don't we? Maybe I might be wrapping it up, or I might be taking a short break, or I might just be blowing smoke right now. I don't know, because this is one of those things where there's no external forces compelling me to actually make a decision. So being extroverted intuition, Dom, means no, I don't have to stop. I could stop. I kind of feel like stopping, but I'm not really sure. I'm bipolar. I don't really know what I want to do. I noticed in like the 10-hour live stream, okay, guys, I'm wrapping it up like 5 times during it. Like 2 hours later, oh, this time I'm really wrapping it up. The surprisingly charming science of your gut. Okay, well, what I'm talking about is basically body image stuff and ontological stuff. Talk about everyone having enough self-worth to believe in themselves no matter how large their poos are. I mean, I had to stand in the bathroom one time with John Polms, the guy who's famous for like having the biggest poops in the world. It smelled the same as anybody else's. It was disgusting. I looked at it. I wasn't really that impressed. I stroked it a little bit. That was a little bit more impressive. And I had to wash my hands for about an hour and a half. That's it. Nothing else to say about it. It's like, why do people care about this so much? How do I find you on Hangouts? Well, what you're going to want to do, Nicolay Shea, is you're going to want to install an app called Google Hangouts. Now, once you've done that in your Chrome browser, you're going to see a little green doodly dad up in the right corner. You click on that, and then it's going to be like new conversation. You push new conversation, and then what's your name? Nicolay Shea. Let's see if you're on this already. I'm going to look for you. Nicolay Shea. I don't see you. You don't exist. Sorry, you don't exist, so you can't use Google Hangouts. There's an existential prerequisite. It's only for people who exist. Maybe I misspelled your name, Nicolay Shea. My email address is suartsire@gmail.com. If you put suartsire@gmail.com, I'll put it here. That's what's linked to my Google Hangouts. This one. SUARTSCIRE@gmail.com. May I just say again, how much I love Lou's knock knock joke. You're impressed by your own body image? I'm impressed by how much I'm impressed by my body. That's good. That's healthy way of doing it. I'm not really impressed with my body, but I am impressed by how impressed I am with my body because it means I've got good self-concept. It is Eric Strauss backwards. That's true. that is true. You might also say that it's an anagram of rice asterisk backwards. You could say that as well. The reason it's Eric Strauss backwards at gmail.com is because Eric Strauss forwards at gmail.com was taken. And I thought about doing number 4, the word for, the other spelling of the word for, and then the words numeral 4 as in at gmail.com, just to be confusing, you know, like this. What's your name? My name's 444 numeral 4 all lowercase at gmail.com. Right, 444 numeral 4 all lowercase. So it's like, yeah, 4 FOURFOR and then numeral 4. So like the number 4? No, the words numeral 4. But that second 4 actually should be spelled differently. It should be spelled FORE, like golf. Okay. I'm confused. And this is all lowercase. Case doesn't matter in Gmail. So words all lowercase. I mean, yeah, case doesn't affect your email at all. You know, uppercase, lowercase doesn't matter. But the words all lowercase should be in the email address, preferably written in all lowercase. But if you were to do it caps, it wouldn't make any difference. Who's there, Lou? Who is there? 444 numeral 4 all lowercase at gmail.com. Please email me right now. Knock, knock. Who's there? I said, Lou. Who is there? Knocking. I said, who's there, Lou? Who's there? Who is there? How often? Okay, I'm tired of you knocking and me actually saying who's there and you just saying knock knock again. That's not fair. You caught me in an infinite loop of go to tens. That's funny, Lou. That's a good joke right there. You told me the only way you can make it text, right? Knock knock, who's there? Knock knock, who's there? And then in parentheses, it's mute man. Please open the door already. I've got a knocking fetish. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, I'm knocking. I am knocking so hard. Fuck yeah. Knock away. Knock. And that's how I make love at a beautiful lady. Maria Sanchez has a mushroom. Why are you knocking? Boom, boom, boom. They have a knocking fetish, yo, says Zandy. She looks like the person who would know that. ENTP Jen's email is I love Cassie. I love me. I love Cassie. Mad. Damn. Oops. That is ridiculous. What the hell kind of email is that? That's a dumb email. That's a dumb one. This is a good email address. 440s for foreman from before at gmail.com. Her latest crush. Her latest crush is called Sylvia Scissors. Hi, I'm Sylvia Scissors. Would you like to be my crush? My email address is 440s for form. My email address is 440s for foreman from before at gmail.com. It's easy to remember. There are 440s for foreman from before at gmail.com, obviously. I had to leave them for the 440. I had to leave 440s for the four foremen who were here formerly. Yeah. So that's why my email address is 440s for foreman from before at gmail.com. Where did Ghost train for the Olympics? Purgatory? Yeah, you're right, Matthew. 440s for forementioned foreman from before at gmail.com is a great email address. It really is. Lake Erie. It's like, I actually had no idea what the answer to that was. It never occurred to me. I thought like it's probably something like, an Olympic ghoul or something. But that's much better. Yes. So it could be this. Also, you could go 40 for 40s for aforementioned. $44.40 for aforementioned former foreman from before.com. 44.40s for aforementioned former foreman from before.com is my new website. It's about former foremen about whom I previously talked and their ability to metaphorically or metaphysically anyway access the 44.40s page, which basically has pictures of 40s, and you can digitally, virtually spill some on the ground for your dead homies. What's going on with that coronavirus? Get a load of that coronavirus. What goes good with coronavirus? Lime? Chips and salsa virus? I think that's a good answer. What goes good with coronavirus? Chips and salsa virus. We're waxing Wayne Walker. Your name is hard to say. Knock, knock. Who's there? Catch up. Catch up who? Catch up with me and I'll tell you. What is the answers, Andy? Lyme disease. That's good. I like Lyme disease as an answer, Andy. That works well too. I also like chips and salsa virus as the answer to that question. You just owned him for a week for this joke, though. I have to say, I had a moment in that live stream where I excerpted from one particular moment in the video about the whales and stuff that I released this morning that I liked best and was most impressed with. I don't really like best, but I'm most impressed with. I was actually impressed with my own quickness when Joel and Henry said, like, what about the people fighting for their freedom like Haiti? So he just says basically comma as in the Haitian example or something, but instead he says like Haiti, and the way he phrased it made it seem like it was freedom like Haiti. So I was impressed with my quickness to come up with. I mean, if it's freedom like Haiti, I think I'll keep servitude. That's like a textbook, like one-liner comedian joke, boy, are my arms tired kind of a thing. I have one of those jokes in the repertoire as well when I say, you know, back when I was with the Indian tribe still, uh, they assigned me to do the rain dance for a year. Uh, they assigned me to do the rain dance. I was responsible for it. And it didn't rain. It didn't rain for a whole year. They assumed I could do the rain dance and make the rains come because I had super hearing, super eyesight. But that doesn't mean I have super rain making power, you know. But yeah, I had the job and it didn't rain for a whole year. Boy, were my legs tired. I got it up, right? You see what I'm saying? That's I call a comedian joke or your Benny Youngman joke. The guy with the violin and tells one-liners. Take my wife, please. How do you make holy water? You boil the hell out of it. That's actually not true. It's not true, Eileen. Okay, as the archpastor of both the Lorraine Church, God's Big Heaven Church, and other churches yet to be made up, I can tell you that if you boil it at a full roiling boil, you will kill all the angelic bacteria as well. Because there are demonic bacteria and there are angelic bacteria. It is true that angelic bacteria can survive a higher boiling point than demonic bacteria, so you should heat the water, but a full roiling boil is too much, too hot. You'll take all the holy out of it. What you need to do is skip the heating process entirely and just have me bless it. I can bless it from here. All right. I would like to bless the next 12 gallons of water in East Germany to come out of Eileen's kitchen sink. Okay. And remember, it's only the water coming out of your kitchen sink that's going to be holy. So if you want to take a bath in holy water, you're going to have to carry it from the kitchen to the bathtub. I hereby render the next 12 gallons of water to emerge from Eileen's sink in East Germany to be holy. Now it's holy. God's Big Heaven Church is an enterprise that really takes advantage of the healing power of holy water as well, because we try to structure it so you're constantly being absolved as you move through life. So there's never a chance for you to actually retain any sin. But we can do this with a combination of holy water and certain things like Hail Marys and stuff. And what I actually have is a Hail Mary, Mother of God patch, slow release patch. It's like a nicotine patch kind of. Goes right on your shoulder, and it will slowly release into you holy water over the course of the week. That way, if you sin, don't worry. It's just going to be washed away by the holy water. So let's say you sin, you're in the middle of, you don't want to wait in line, you're tired of waiting in line, you're frustrated, so you're just like, fuck it, I'm stealing this stuff. And you walk out of the store with it. Now, let's say you get hit by a car and you die. Normally, that means you're in hell. Okay, but not if you were wearing the patch, the God's Big Heaven patch. Because it's constantly seeping holy water into you, you are constantly being absolved as soon as you commit a sin. And that way, you're sure, no matter how sinful you are, you will go directly to God's Big Heaven upon death. Put it in a gold or bronze bowl. Put it in a silver one too. Put it in a bronze or gold bowl. Then the silver one too. That's how I make my junk holy as well. So before Rachel and I have sexual intercourse, I usually like to store my genitals in a gold, copper, or silver bowl to render them more holy. I'll also usually sprinkle holy water on my junk. How holy I want it, well, that's whether it's gold, silver, or bronze, right? So if I want things to get dirty and nasty, then I go bronze. One day when I wanted to try something real freaky, I used a wood bowl. But if I'm making gentle, sweet, true, universally resonant, angelic love to my precious, perfect, platonic form of woman, Rachel Lapalosa, then I use the gold bowl, or even sometimes platinum. God loves precious metals. He infuses precious metals with his holiness. And by using the powers vested in me as an archpastor, I can infuse that holiness from the bowl into my genitals. And then when I make love to Rachel Apollosa, she gets 6 angel points every time I ejaculate. Every time I ejaculate, an angel gets its wings. You wish you had some peasants? Hang in here. It's not time for feudalism anymore. You don't get any peasants. Even if you had some, they wouldn't really be your peasants. You'd just be oppressing them. I want some peasants too. And some peons. I want some peasants, I want some peons, and I want some serfs. Can I have all 3, please? How many serfs does it take to make a peon, and how many peons does it take to make a peasant? I think serf, peon, and peasant should be 3 different units of measurement. Yeah, Angies, I see that. You want to receive peasants as a gift. I'm telling you, people are not objects. It's a reciprocal relationship. I'm totally meeting your reciprocal burdens. Don't worry, baby. You can burden me reciprocally anytime you like. Mm-hmm. All went under both our frameworks. She spread, so I extended my aff. It's something people say in debate, right? That's a debate joke. It's a debate pickup line. This is a line like from debate camp. If you go to debate camp or something, you'd be like, "Hey, baby, tell you what, how about you spread and I'll extend my aff? You spread your eggs and I'll extend my aff." Of course, spreading in debate means speed read. It's a combo word. What's it called? Portmanteau. 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 If you don't use the word portmanteau on a daily basis, then you don't use the word portmanteau often enough for me. If you don't know what the word portmanteau is, maybe you should Google it. Don't be ignorant. I think it means like the word spread, which is speed read, but they put them together like that, like brunch, breakfast, lunch, right? I think that's a portmanteau, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's a delicious meal between lunch and breakfast. It often features mimosas, but I'm not 100% sure it's a portmanteau. Debate jokes are tight. You're right. Tight have any special meaning in debate? No, it doesn't. You could say, it's like things people say a lot is, he did a good job or a poor job of covering the flow. He dropped my shit. He kicked my shit. He kicked his own arguments. He severed. I would have extended my aff, but he severed it. You can't sever somebody else's shit. You have to sever from your own arguments. Voters, a lot of jargon in debate, a shit ton of jargon. I mean, you could, if you hear like a roadmap, for example, it would probably, in like a policy debate, it would make no sense to anybody who's not a debater. They go, okay, the order is I'm going to do ASPEC first. I'm going to address his causality argument. I'm going to go ASPEC, T, inherency, solvency, and then I'm going to go 3 off, and if time permits, I'll link back to my opponent's verdict. And time starts now. Like, people have no idea what they said in the roadmap, right? They're going, I'm going to go ASPEC, T, inherency. It means they're going to address the opponent's argument about agent specificity first. They're going to address the opponent's topicality argument second. They're going to address the opponent's attack on the aff's inherency third. And after that, they'll attack the aff's links, basically. Because, it's I love it so much. I love everything about it. I love the jargon. I love the hilarity of its absurdity when you have this communication competition that's evolved into this thing where no normal human being could possibly follow anything that anyone's saying. I love that. It's become so intensely specialized that you watch a policy debate round and it goes like that. It's spreading and it's yeah. Whew, thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you for being you. You do you. You be me. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me to smoke this bowl. I'm just gonna let it sit here and get stale rather than smoke it. Farmers get stale fast. That's why you gotta smoke them a lot. You gotta smoke them constantly. All right, look, I'm bringing out the big guns, you guys. I'm bringing out the big guns. Boom. It's called Torchy George. The Porchy George. Big guns. Angatir has too much milk. Did the farmer forget to milk you today? Angatir, are your udders sore? What I was going to say about something. These are boxers, Lou. They are underwears. But the thing is, sorry. The thing is, I do have pants I was going to put on, but I just didn't put them on yet. Noise. I'll tell you what's noise. My elephant friend. I like this thing a lot. Lil Dicky. No. Everyone's seen the radio? Lil Dicky. No one ever seen the video of Lil Ricky. Lil Dicky. Earth. I never seen the video of Lil Dicky. I never seen the video of Lil Dicky. This is hard. I haven't quite gotten used to it. It's a new instrument. So, what did the buffalo say when the sun left? Bye, son. That's good. Eileen, I like that. Bison. Bison and buffalo are not the same thing. I don't think. Are they? Maybe. I want a pet water buffalo. Why can't I have a pet water buffalo? Like, you don't have enough water for a water buffalo. Can I get a regular buffalo then? No, Eric, you don't have enough land for a buffalo. Well, how much fucking room does the buffalo need? They can stay in the backyard. Eric, you have to walk your buffalo. You have to feed it. It's a lot of responsibility. Please. $800 number. 800 my eye. He. But it's I think I gotta end this live stream now. It's 1:30 already. I did wake up very late, comparatively late, so it's only been a 2.5 hour long live stream. But I do want to get some things done. Like, I need to rearrange shit in here. I need to do laundry. I need to I gotta go to work tonight. God damn it. I gotta go to work at 8 o'clock. It's fine, it's just an hour. It's easy squeezy. I'm gonna work Thursday as well. Friday, Saturday. I got a tournament this weekend. God damn it. That's fine. I don't mind a tournament this weekend. That'd be cool. It's on the right topic. It's on the nuclear weapons. That'd be fun, actually. I like that tournament. I think Marlboro again. I like going to Marlboro. Man, that fucking tournament swank, actually. I'm looking forward to Marlboro this weekend. The Marlboro School for Girls, I have no affiliation with them at all. Never. I had no reason to have no arrangement with them or anything. I want to fully endorse that place. If you are rich enough and your girl is smart enough to go there, totally send your girl there because that's a damn good school and super swanky. Like I love the spread they put out food wise for everybody, parents, debaters, and judges. Shit ton, like like a swanky hotel breakfast for free for everybody. Different kinds of coffee, different kinds of creamer. Um, and then when everyone's done with lunch, it all gets cleaned away by these caterers. And then guess what? Taco truck for lunch. I mean, not the actual truck, but a lot of people in LA do this. They'll hire a taco truck to cater their party or a taco guy, and so it's an LA classic. And of course, he has all the different meats. He's got the chicken, the carne asada, your carnitas, your lingua, and then he's got they've got all these different salsas and shit, right? And so then after an hour to get tacos, then that's all swept away, cleaned up, swept away, and there's some little there's some there's not dinner's not provided, but there's like a late beverage, where they bring out new beverage things for like before the last round or so. They just basically refill the coffee. It's like that shit's. I mean, come on, that is insane. I have been to a lot of tournaments. And even private schools, whatever. These are schools, and fundamentally, there's this. There's a reality that schools are kind of administrative-y, bureaucracy-y organizations. They are not. They don't treat people like private businesses treat people, even if they're private schools. My clients, that school doesn't treat them as though they were the clients of a private business when they suspended their kid with, in my mind, just because he was there, basically. Not because he did anything at all. Like, it sounds like maybe these, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I have no, who cares if he's suspended? It's like, it's middle school, for God's sakes. Who cares? But I had an interesting experience when Delilah was in high school because I kept writing notes for her for whatever reasons, for various reasons. But my notes would always say things like, please excuse Delilah's absence from first and second period this morning. After she woke up and we were here, things occurred that required her to be late for reasons unstated. I just put I have fun with it. Although we lament terribly the missings of periods earlier this morning. And while we greatly respect the importance of attending said periods on a regular basis, compelling things today of a family nature and of utmost importance, transcending anything that could ever be attained outside of the family, made it absolutely necessary, though regrettably so, that Delilah miss her important classes on this Tuesday morning, November 2015 or so, 14, I guess, like that era. I'd send notes like that all the time at school, just basically notes that said, Delilah wasn't there. And I'm a parent who's telling you what you already know, that Delilah wasn't there. And that there were reasons of some sort that she wasn't there. The implication being, you have this notion in school, high school, that some reasons that people provide for not attending school are legitimate, and other reasons for not attending school are illegitimate. But What's illegitimate is you expecting me to justify my child not attending school on a given day. I mean, I'm not one to reject the notion that society as a whole has a reasonable expectation of people in general to make sure their children attain certain basic levels of education, at least, and have as an interest the interest of their children. But it's not necessarily the case that the interests of any given child are best met through education. Only some children and some kinds of education. The problem is we compel people of different cognitive function stacks through the same educational procedures and protocols and priorities, and they're fit. And some of them are fit for some people some of the time, and some of them are terribly unfit for other people. And it doesn't matter. It's like, well, listen, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, but we all have to achieve the same. No. Why? Look, we all, some people struggle with math, some people struggle with English, some people struggle with history, whatever. Yes, I get it. You don't like science, honey, but we all have to do it all. Why do we all have to do it all? It's a terrible fucking idea. Listen, I know it seems unfair and not very fun or anything, but yes, we do have to force this very small handicapped person to play basketball with these very skilled athletes, because everybody needs to be included. Everybody has to learn the same basic skills. Why does this person need to learn basketball skills? Well, because that's part of what it means to be together as a group. Everybody has the same thing, even though it's fucking torture for some people and heaven for others, right? That's fucking so dumb. There's nothing else in life that's like school in that regard. That it doesn't matter if it's torture for some people and heaven for other people. Everybody has to do it the same, and it's expected to do it the same, basically achieving this as a precondition to okayness, The shit we treat, I know. It's like, but look, here's the deal. It is not the case that we are successfully indoctrinating our children across the board, because I had no frame in which that was ever being challenged when I was a kid, meaningfully. And I nevertheless experienced ongoing confusion and troubledness about school. I was always stressing about whether or not I'm going to turn something in. I was always like, oh my God, I got this homework. Right. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. I mean, like, what is the purpose of putting me in this situation that is lying to me about the significance of these things that I'm not doing, in order to force me to do what I'm told rather than evaluate things objectively on my own? Of course I was confused. Of course I was troubled and put all this, shaming myself all the time. I was constantly, as a kid, shaming myself for my lack of discipline. Fuck, Eric, why didn't you turn that shit in? Oh my God, you're gonna get beat out on this thing. Why would we put anybody in a situation that rewards and encourages that kind of approach to something that's completely fucking pointless? Does it really matter if I get a whatever on a whatever in 8th grade, for example? No. But by the time kids are in 8th grade, we have trained them to stress. You better take this seriously. So, oh shit, I'm not any good at throwing frisbees. God damn it, I'm really shitty at it. Oh well, whatever. No, you better take this seriously. And then you've got somebody standing over there the whole time. I don't care about this. And pretty soon you're getting all nervous, like, I'm trying. Wait a second. The fact that this person sucks at throwing a frisbee does not justify anybody forcing him to get better at it. Same thing with everything else about school. Forcing kids to go to PE. I mean, the shit that I had to go through in PE was even worse, Sandy, because when I was in middle school, They forced all these seventh graders who just entered middle school, along with the eighth and ninth graders who were all in middle school, 10th, 11th, 12th with high school. Okay, first day of school PE, seventh grade. Coach O. When we are in PE, we will do the wrong things. Now listen, boys. Every day when you come to PE, you will undress, you will put your clothes in your locker, you will put on all of your PE clothes. This includes your jock strap. Does everybody have their jock strap? Yeah. And he's like looking, make sure everybody's got their jock strap, right? Now, at the end of every PE class, we end class 15 minutes early. This is not so you can come in here and play. Everybody is required after every PE class to fully undress and get into the showers, get yourself clean. Do not just get yourself wet, clean yourself entirely. You have the rest of the day of school. You do not want to stink. You are required to then put your, towel. You're required to then get your deodorant, put it on. You don't want to stink. Now, boys, Friday. What is Friday? Repeat after me. PE clothes go home. Today is Friday. PE clothes go home. Do not forget your PE clothes. You are to wash them and bring them back on Monday. The showers were poles with things sticking out of them. There was like 4 of them side by side, and this big thing which had drains on the floor. And there was no privacy at all, right? And so I had left 6th grade going like, do life is normal. You hear about it though, but you start hearing about it in elementary school. Oh, you gotta get naked with everybody in middle school. You gotta totally get naked with everybody. They're gonna make you take off all your clothes and get naked. All the kids like talking about it in elementary school. And then you're there in 7th grade, and of course, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, you've got boys in all stages of development. You've got little boys there who have not yet begun puberty. And, I was more in that range of kid, right? In 7th grade, beginning of 7th grade. And then you've got like full grown men who are fast maturing 9th graders. Like, done with puberty almost, it seems like. Having a 5 o'clock shadow. So the thing is, it was actually not a bad environment, as I recall it. I don't remember things ever getting awful in PE, in middle school. But the point is, this is a power of persisting in the status quo, right? The status quo has inertia. So it's like that sort of shit happened back then because schools emerged as look, okay, so what do we do when we need to make people ready to fight? Well, we use the military. We need to teach them, we use the military. Okay. Well, we need to teach these children, So let's approach like the military. We'll have a boss, and if you do bad, it'll hit you with a stick, and you have to obey, And because we know what we want to teach you, and we know what we want you to learn, then we're the boss, you're the underling, do it our way, you don't know what you're doing. We'll make sure you do know what you're doing. And how you want to learn is irrelevant because we need a standardized way. This is military. And so, well, what are we going to do with PE? Well, same thing as military. Strip them down, run them in naked circles, do some stuff that years later people will be like, oh my God, that is so half. What? What? Dress them up in little girls' clothes. It was like, what? Where is a good hazing tradition for the military? And so, it's like by the time I was in middle school, I was like 85, 84, something like that. And those traditions still persisted unchecked, undaunted yet. The process of beginning to go like, oh, hold on, let's pull some of this shit back. This is ridiculous. Had happened shortly thereafter, like 90 maybe. Started happening in 1990. But yeah, asking for permission to go to the bathroom is beyond me. I have the right. I have to ask for your permission for a basic human right. Yeah, we train students to undervalue the significance of their own autonomy. And the reason is because we treat school as an interface modality. And both TE and FE undervalue the individual. FE undervalues the individual's feelings. TE undervalues the individual's logic. And so since those are and here's the other thing is like, well, FI needs to have things justified by TE. Well, school will provide TE justification for FI. TI needs to have things justified in a number of different possible ways. And depending on how strong the TI is, by and large, TI users tend to be susceptible to utilitarian justifications. Well, look, we got to educate these kids some way. We can't just let them all run wild. This is the best way. We should try to make it better. Of course, this is the best we can do. All that stupid shit. Ignoring the obvious thing that if you have a system of schooling which is compelling a bunch of 7th grade boys to, you are all forced as a group to strip naked and blah, 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 all this shit, that it's prima facie, it fails to mean it's prima facie case as something that doesn't obviously appall the conscience, There's a test in jurisprudence in case law for constitutional jurisprudence that says even if that appalling the conscience is always an exception. So, for example, judges have absolute immunity for anything they do in their capacity as a judge. But it has to be in their capacity as a judge, not while they're on duty as a judge, it turns out. But the only reason it turns out that is because of a case that appalled the conscience. So you had a judge that used the powers of his office to extort with legal threats he easily could follow through on, extort women to have sex with him. And so basically rape by due process. And the Supreme Court had to go all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court did say, no, you don't have immunity for that. But unfortunately, that ruling, you don't have immunity for that, is inconsistent with case law that says they actually do have absolute immunity. They can do whatever the hell they want while they're wearing that robe and be guilty of nothing. That's basically what case law says. So in order to create a sort of category of exception without making a distinction, they said, I'm not sure if this was the case in which this occurred, but this is the logic of the whole matter. They said, shock the conscience. And so, look, I might not have a legal reason to say that thing shouldn't be subject to immunity according to the same logic we've been using all along, except it's obviously wrong. It's too obviously wrong for us to justify it with legal bullshit. It's a weird argument, It's like, well, because, our argument breaks down when it comes to this example. So it's an exception. Why is it an exception? Well, because it proves our argument so obviously wrong. Okay, so why isn't it the determinant factor rather than the exception? Well, because we don't like it that way. Come on, Supreme Court. Come on, SCOTUS. Get your SCOTUS out of your scrotum, Get your scrotum out of your SCOTUS, one of the two. I did, Angantyr. I transubstantiated you something this morning. Right. Everybody thinks the default way things are is the default way things are, and therefore ought to be. Like, well, look, I assume everybody goes through life using TI just like me. So when that girl in Arizona tried to charge me, it's like $10 for a couple cups of coffee because she did the math wrong. And I say, okay, but just listen to me. I want to explain it to you. What I'm saying is, hey, you deliberate universally. Okay, lady? And what does she do? She goes, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to listen to you because she knows she doesn't know what I'm asking. She just knows that I'm asking her to access a function that she's not comfortable using. And the thing is, the way she reacted to it suggests it's front slot she's not comfortable using. She was ESFJ or ENFJ, fourth slot TI. And what ends up happening there is she defaults to TE when dealing with the world instead of TI because she's got TE in the A slot and she's fundamentally an interface type. So what does she do instead? She says, I don't want you to explain anything to me or listen to you or try to deliberate myself at all because I already have in place a protocol I'm going to execute that's going to get me the answer. I'm going to call my supervisor trainer lady who told me to call her when I have questions. So she knew what she had been told to do, so to speak, if there was a problem. And she'd also been trained on how to do this math. Problem was, it was supposed to be charged an extra 10% onto the bill because it was takeout. Because I wasn't going to leave a tip because it was takeout, so they added an extra 10% for tip for the people, which is fine. I totally accept that and understand that. But she didn't. She was doing the math wrong. So it was like $6, $5 or whatever. I don't know. She would say, "Okay, well, here's your bill, and here's the tax," and then she'd like add instead of taking 10% of that, she took 10% of that, and then like added the original number again to it for some reason. Like, in other words, if it was $6, she'd say, okay, that's $6.60 plus $6 is $12.60. Say, no, the $6 is already there. Look, it's $6 is the cost. The tax is 60 cents. Okay, now the extra 10% of like the total is 584 or whatever, 580. With tax it's $6. Now we're going to add 10% to that, so it's 660. And she's like, yes. And then $6 is 12.60. But why the other $6? Why'd you add the $6 again? Let me explain it to you. No, I've been trained on this. I know what the protocol is. I know. I mean, there are times when students are disrespectful, but that needs to be articulated specifically what disrespectful means. Nicolay, I'm sorry we didn't get to talk again. Well, see, that's the thing, Sandy. She had been trained in this, how to do this math on this. And basically, she had been said, okay, so you get the metadata, and then you add it to the original total. So, okay, fine. But so it's basically, it's like, so you get the metadata, and she thought, get the metadata meant get the number $6, add the 10% to it, 660, and then you add it to the original one, $6. So add more $6, that's 12.60. She didn't get that the original $6 was part of the thing, right? It was like she thought that completing the first process of figuring out the 10% and adding it to the number was completely the first process. And then you just add that to the number, not realizing that that was including the number twice. Okay. It's I would have, I think, hopefully been able to explain it to her, but she did not want to listen to me explain it because she was like thinking, okay, I better make sure I'm remembering the protocol right. She was like, okay, no, I don't want to listen to you. It's like, first I do this, then I do this, then I do this, and I add the $6 and 12.60. No, but you got an extra 60. You added it twice though. She said, but no, I know what I was trying to do. So she ends up calling her again. I keep telling her, no, it's 660. These aren't the actual numbers, but these are the example numbers. It's 660, not 12.60, you know? And she called her fucking thing, and finally she came back and she's like, 660. And she started to cry and feeling really bad. I wasn't angry at any point. I was just like kind of baffled, like, but you added twice. But no, it's not 12. And I look around, like the other people in the restaurant are like steadfastly like looking away from me, like not gonna help. Anyway, eventually we got it straightened out. And I was like, oh, don't cry. That tip here, extra tip. Yeah, I just had to be on a one-on-one basis. Sure. I mean, oh, you mean without Rachel? If I'll do you one-on-one, no problem. If you're a chick, we got to be okay with Rachel being there. Now, if you're a really, really, really sexy dude, maybe Rachel will have a problem with it. I don't know. I guess if Rachel thinks you have the capacity to seduce me, if you're a dude, to turn me gay, then you might be potentially trying to sit there with us. But I think it's probably, you have to be really, really manly. You look pretty manly in your picture. I don't know if you're manly enough to turn me gay, though. So it should be fine one-on-one. If you don't want Rachel there, that's fine. I get it. Sometimes you want to talk to somebody, you don't want their chick around. I get it. Like, hey, I'm here to see you, buddy. I don't want to see your girlfriend. All right. You and I are here to bro down. We don't need split tail over there bringing her doilies and her tea parties around. Okay. Don't talk back to me. Right. Don't talk back to me is a horrible statement to say. Matthew has seduced me many times. He does it when I'm asleep, though. And I wake up and I'm like, something feels kind of sticky up in there. It smells like Matthew was here. It smells like, what is that? Yeah, cedar. He smells like cedar. He's from Connecticut. Full of cedar trees there. No, it's $100 an hour. I don't do 75-minute sessions anymore. Although, I mean, I do sometimes. Basically, look, when I type somebody, I know you trust me, baby. I like demonstrating, basically publicly demonstrating what I think is proper relationship behavior, which is to say, I think it's proper for me to defer to you on that matter. I know that if I would actually type a chick that you weren't available to see it, I would just type her and I explain what happens. It's like obviously we actually trust each other. There's no need for any of these formal theatrics of trust, right? But I like demonstrating that I believe anyway, it's important to go extra out of your way to reassure your significant other about your fidelity because it's the central engine of all trust in a relationship. Like, and also, I guess this is probably a reaction to my last relationship. In my last relationship, the idea that jealousy is bad was abused against me. So, in other words, I was trying to build trust, but any action I took as trying to build trust was interpreted as a lack of trust or as distrust. And I never quite figured out that she was doing that. I never put it this way until just now, really. But so I guess I was always fond of these sort of formal gestures of power sharing implicit in what I'm doing here. I believe in formal gestures of power sharing because I'm First Lot FE. I like demonstrations that I am on your team and we are on the same page. Whether they're necessary or not, I offer them because I know that I don't interact with Rachel to just address problems. I'm creating both how we are with each other and who we are concurrently in every action that I take in relation to Rachel, as she is by similarly with me, So I'm sort of relishing and enjoying the fact that in this relationship, we can give each other credit for shit rather than interpreting it the wrong way all the time. the fact that I'm very willing to make a lot of gestures of demonstrating that I'm reliable and responsible in that area. It's something that you have to be on the same page, right? Because it could be interpreted as, so are you saying that you need all these checks and balances against yourself, or you're not going to be trustworthy? That if I'm not there, you're going to cheat? It could be interpreted like that. Rachel and I know each other too well. We understand each other too well. She knows I'm not that person. I'm not. The reason I'm doing this is because mostly it's kind of a reaction against, in the past, my past relationship, it would have been interpreted like that somehow. Everything was spun against me. Everything good and true and just about how to interact with people in a relationship, from my perspective, was used to manifest unhealthy toxicity in that relationship. And it was confounding, revelatory, confusing, all concurrently. This is a question to ENTPs above 30 and unmarried. Do you think about kids someday? To ENTPs above 30 and unmarried, he wants to rephrase that. I think he's saying who don't have a kid yet or haven't had a kid. I don't want to have any more kids. I do want to get married to Rachel LaPalooza, so that I can become Mrs. Rachel LaPalooza, or Mr. Mrs. and Mr. Rachel Eric LaPalooza Strauss, I guess. Damn it, now you want a girlfriend? Get yourself a different INFJ. You got a bad one before, for you. I'm not saying she's bad, I'm saying she's bad for you, okay? I don't want to talk any shit about Richella. I'm not talking any shit about her at all. So just, please, everybody recognize that while Isaiah Root has his perspective on his Richella relationship, I voice no opinion on anybody from that relationship or anything. I don't judge anybody about that, anything that happens, okay? So, how do I feel about IRL, opposite sex friends while in a relationship? I have, do I have any female friends in real IRL female friends? Now, I mean, I've got Corey's wife is a female friend of mine, and I think it's a situational, it's a case by case basis kind of. It's like, it may be, as a general rule, it's a bad idea if you have a opposite sex friend long term because there's sort of closeness or whatever, but it's on a case by case basis because, like, Corey and I both knew Liz prior to Corey and Liz getting together, but that was a long ass time ago, right? So our friendship with Liz precedes his marriage or even getting with Liz, and also, Corey could trust me, and even if he couldn't trust Liz, and that was the case. He couldn't trust Liz, but he could trust me, and he knew it, and there wasn't a problem ever because I was so utterly trustworthy. There was a problem with this other guy that we were hanging out with, and his wife, and Liz. They eventually manifest. This other guy that we were hanging out with, he tried to attain that same sort of situation, and it ended up, they were both too emotionally hungry ultimately, and they ended up sort of groping each other. Shit happened, right? That was a dark night. That was a very dark night. I was up, of course, in the middle of the night at a time that was at least 15 years ago, and I was up in the middle of that on meth and working on some random shit at my house, and Corey comes in, basically having had his world collapse around him based on having sort of intuited and then went out and saw in the car what was going on, you know. So that was a dark night. But the thing is, he could trust me. Nothing like that was ever going to happen between me and Liz because I guess I prioritized right things. I don't know. I'm not that. I get the limited value of experiential pleasures as very minor short-term values, whereas the being able to tell right stories is a permanent good. Like when you need to take few actions, ideally, and whatever actions you take, inaction is way more safe. Not taking action is very safe because then you can say you had restraint. And even if you fail to take action and it turns out you ought to have, you can always spin why action was not taken much more effectively than you can spin why action was taken. So inaction is important. And yeah, Mercury in retrograde has been so magically Mercury in retrograde, this Mercury in retrograde, that I can't even hardly believe it. It's been shockingly obvious to me how much clearage of unhandled shit has been happening. Yeah, Isaiah Root. No, listen, don't even call it forget to take it. You want to choose to let yourself have those emo days where you don't take or you take less. Like, I took 3 again today, or did I take 2? I think I took 2 with the plan to maybe take a third, and I don't think I ever did take a third. Try to have days off if you can. You probably won't, but try to have a day of just enough to get you through the day rather than thwacked it all. And enjoy that moisture. Because the cool thing about Adderall is those ups and downs make it such that I really have a lot of opportunity to get in touch with my feelings. Like, I do get emo when I'm tired and when I have enough or whatever. And it's important to me to be able to go intensely enough and hard enough or whatever that when I stop and look around at what I've accomplished, or and so now that we've action. Okay, now let's see what kind of impact, because I don't actually look at the impact directly. There's not SEHNE, right? And then I start to sort of have to recap the context, the environments, like the communities, the level of circleness and humanity, man. And all of a sudden, you start to feel the rich, nougaty richness of life, and your eyes start welling with tears, and you realize, that's kind of nice, like actual weight. Watch your voice, baby. You mean watch my tone? You better watch your tone, Eric. Is that what you mean? Or are you saying I'm losing my voice? It's okay if I'm losing it. It'll find its way back. It's a humming voice. I don't have to worry about it getting lost. Stop your crying now. Why? Because you're feeling the rich, nougaty richness of life. Like, this is, in fact, a very rich and nougaty moment. Like, here you are, 21, 20, I don't know how old you are, whatever, a kid, a young man. And here I am, an old man of the same type. And there's a fundamental quality between us that we both see as the same. It's both not just being EHPs, but being coddled EHPs. We've been appropriately coddled EHPs. Coddling is a good thing for EHPs. And, half the time, because we're well coddled, we're not paying attention to anything but what we're deliberating upon, NETI on. When we stop for a moment, the alternatives for us are FE and SI. We go, wow, people really do like me. And I've had such great experiences. And wow, life sure is important and good and wonderful and just and true and fine and special. And I love you too, Rachel. Oh my God, I love my friend so much. So nice. It's just It's just a big crybaby, you know. It's unavoidable. Rachel definitely positively influences my mood. Like when a second ago, she said, "You better check that tone because it sounds like you're fucking losing it, Eric. It sounds like you're going crazy." I said, "Hey, okay, I will. I'll stop." That's that's the dynamic that just doesn't exist between me and Rachel, right? She didn't mean that. She meant I'm losing my voice. I should be careful, baby. Don't lose your voice. It's much different than you better watch your tone, Mister. Bacon, and this is a textually how it is. When things are manifesting in non-text form, it's in this fashion. Let me read that. That says T E E plus R L E. Tierly? I don't know. That's a strange font. It's a strange font. I can't tell what those letters are. So they funked up their font so much I can't even tell what letter each one of those is anymore. Yokada. 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 Kada. Yokada. I just spent 20 minutes trying to complete a homework assignment without reading the chapter. Got halfway before I resigned myself to reading it sometime. Which is the book you got to read? What's the chapter? What's the chapter? Which is the book you got to read? What's the chapter you got to read? Which is the book, the chapter? What's the chapter you got to read there? What is the chapter? Chapter time. No, McFarland, what's the book you're reading? It's an accounting book. Oh my God, I love accounting books. Is it Accounting for Fun and Profit by Smithenstein? I love that one. 1972. It's one of the classics. Or Accounting and You. Best Friends? Question mark. It's one of my favorite accounting books as well. Accounting. Different than just counting. Also a good poopty poo. Hey. Are you guys talking some secret language that I don't know? That's what it feels like to me. What is that, like Korea or something? Korea talk? Japan talk? What is that? Those aren't even letters. Those are characters. Oh my God. Let me see. Okay, I will read it. I'm a little slow reading these things out loud. It takes me a second to remember, but I will read it out loud. Okay, so Anchor Jason Blood says, "Chao Ji Te, Jing Chong Ha, He Hong Ha." Is that how it's pronounced? If I remember correctly. Wakarani. Wakarane. What was I about to do? What was I doing? What was I thinking? I think I was going to end the stream, right? End the stream, right? Yeah, I am. All right. I end the stream. I'm going to chat with Rachel briefly on the Google Hangouts, and then I might actually get something done, something else done. Something like clean my room. I could wash my car. I could apply balm and salve to my scrotum. That takes hours. I could call Isaiah Rude and say earnest and honest things to him and try to make him cry. See, we could play make Isaiah cry. You know, Isaiah, it's really cool how you like that kind of shit. Don't be racist. I'm not racist. I love all ways the same. I just show you a video made by ESPN where the underdog team overcomes adversity and wins, and just put a bucket beneath you and collect enough water to irrigate my plants. All right, I am going to wrap it up now. Good night. Goodbye, everybody. Not good night. Goodbye, everybody. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. And I have such love in my heart for all of you, as though you were the mother country I had left behind. Get a jug, we're catching tears.